TNT Sports is live at the New Hampshire International Speedway for the New England 300 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. 110,000 fans and 43 teams all ready for the green flag this afternoon. 300 laps, 317 miles. Tony Stewart is the defending champion of this race. He starts 25th today. Been a tough couple of weeks for Tony. He was penalized and fined at Daytona, then crashed at Chicago. But he knows it's just part of a test, a tough test. And if that test continues, people are going to find out that Tony Stewart is tougher than Tony Soprano. Tony Stewart has made intensity trendy. He has the tools, attitude, ability, the skill, and the will. He's a kid with a cause. Snarl or smile, hey, it's hard to tell. But he's not afraid to stick his nose in where he believes it belongs. Tony has zeal. He also has Zippy, a talented crew and a brash orange car. Together, they have brought zest to the twisting road that leads to victory lane. Tony Stewart, a rebel without a pause.
Boy, what a dreadful couple of weeks it's been for Tony Stewart. And let's talk to him. Tony starts 25th. And how important. It's just a good finish for you guys today.
It's important for me. It's taking a lot of wind out of my sails, but you know, everybody behind Home Depot's rallied around us, and everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing's rallying around, and we're going to get things turned around. I mean, we've just had bad luck the last couple of weeks. You know, nothing that we're really in control of. So, you know, you can only control so much of it. So we'll just take care of the parts that we can control, do the best we can today, and it's a place that we've had good luck at, so we'll look forward to it.
He is indeed good here, but not as good as Mr. New Hampshire, and he's with Matt Yoakum.
Marty, Tony Stewart may have won this event 1 year ago, but last fall, Jeff Burton led every lap to record his 4th New Hampshire victory. Jeff, today, you start from the 10th position. Do you still have some of that Burton magic left for the mile?
Well, I certainly hope so. We've worked really hard on this race program for sure. I think the sealer is going to be a major factor. If the sealer gets wore off, the people that are running well early aren't going to run well late. And if it doesn't get wore off, then it'll be just like a normal race. The guys that can go will go. But we think the sealer is going to come off just a little bit. We've gambled a little bit thinking it's going to come off. We're not going to be a ball of fire for short runs, but I think on long runs we got a good car.
Burton begins his drive for 5 from the outside of row 5, so the first item on his agenda, get to the bottom and fast. To Dave Burns.
Matt, in the last 12 races, Mark Martin has gained 15 positions in the points on the strength of 7 top 10 finishes. Here at New Hampshire, he leads all drivers with 10 top 10s, but he's never won here, and he hasn't won yet in 2001. Today, Mark Martin hopes to erase 2 big goose eggs with 1 big win. Bill Weber.
And here's one more guy to watch. Rusty Wallace has just 1 top 5 finish in his last 7 races this season. But at this track in 12 races, he has 9 finishes of 8th or better. Rusty won the first Winston Cup race at New Hampshire. He wants to win the next one, and the green flag is just minutes away. The New England 300 on TNT, brought to you by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. By Pep Boys. All you need to know is where to go. Pep Boys. And by the joy of Pepsi. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Loudon, New Hampshire. The sun is shining. Temperature could reach 95 degrees. The fans have come from around New England and around the Northeast to see the NASCAR Winston Cup stars in action. The drama is about to unfold now. The pre-race ceremonies.
Father in heaven, we thank you for the gift of life. Today we are especially mindful of the lives of Dale Earnhardt, Adam Petty, Kenny Irwin, and Tony Roper. Bless their families. Strengthen them with the knowledge that their loved ones live with you in peace and eternal happiness. Father, look kindly upon the drivers in this NASCAR Winston Cup race. Give them your protection. Bless their families. Keep them always close to you and to one another. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ the Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
For the Star-Spangled Banner, Denise Doucette.
Oh, say, can you broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets wriggling, the buzz bursting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
And now to give the command that will send the field on its way in the New England 300, our Grand Marshal, Chris Economaki.
The words that race fans the world over can't wait to hear were first uttered 55 years ago this May in Indianapolis by Wilbur Shaw. And here they are for all of New England. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Laps, 317 miles, and 3 men to take you along for the ride. Alan Best with Benny Parsons and Wally Dallenbach.
Bill, thank you very much. We've talked in our pre-race show about the championship picture coming into today's race. Jeff Gordon being tied with Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd just a couple of points behind. Benny, Jeff Gordon with tough luck the last couple of weeks. Does it change how he drives today's race?
No, as a matter of fact, I spent some time with the crew this morning. I said, are you guys going conservative or aggressive? We're trying to make up our mind right now on a spring change. Everything else is aggressive. This is kind of a change. I talked to them later on. They went the aggressive way. They understand, Alan, they have to try to win some races and get the momentum back.
Weather is hot today, especially for northern New England. Temperature's going to be in the mid-90s. Wally, how does that affect the drivers and teams today?
It's going to affect the driver, and believe me, as a driver, let me introduce you to a couple of my best friends. Today, I've got a lot of these hoses inside my car. They're going to the helmet, they're going to the seat, they're going to my feet, anywhere I can move some air. Also, another friend is the ice pack. I'm going to be putting these ice packs in between my suit and my chest all day long, and I'm going to be keeping asking for all day. I want a lot of ice.
The biggest topic of discussion in the garage area this morning, the track surface and its condition here in New Hampshire. This is the way that it looked earlier this morning before the drivers and teams rolled their cars out. What is all that?
That's rubber, Alan. And you know that what's really concerning the teams, that was not there during their happy hour session yesterday. But they had a truck race, they had a Busch North race, and last night when they go on the racetrack, they found a lot of rubber strips on the racetrack. It's concerned, is it going to do the same thing again today, and what's it going to do to the race car, Wally?
Well, actually, it's going to get a lot worse because what's going to happen is more and more of that's going to come down on the racetrack. The cars are going to get in the corner. They're going to hit that. They're going to add more rubber. It's going to slip, catch. Also, what's going to happen, I mean, these guys are going to start running around it. They're going to look for ways around that rubber buildup. Some guys will be down, some will straddle it, some are high. So it's going to be real interesting to see how these guys get around that.
So track conditions creating perhaps a very edgy, nerve-wracking conditions. Track setup for the drivers today. The New England 300 green flag and starting lineup is next. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is proud to sponsor the Bud Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Jeff Gordon got his 38th career pole award on Friday. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's pole award program. Here is our Walmart starting lineup for the New England 300. It is Gordon along with Mark Martin on the front row. Mark has more top 10 finishes here than anyone else, but he's never won here. Row 2, Jeremy Mayfield and Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton has not had a top 10 finish since his Talladega win back in mid-April. Row number 3, Steve Park and Todd Bodine. Park has won here at New Hampshire several times in modifieds and also in the Busch North Series. Row 4, Robert Presley off his best career Winston Cup finish, a second last Sunday at Chicagoland, and Ken Schrader. In the 5th row, it's Dale Jarrett, tied with Jeff Gordon for the championship lead, and 4-time New Hampshire winner Jeff Burton.
Let's try talking to Jeff Burton on the radio. Jeff Burton, Benny Parsons up at TNT. You got me?
Man, what's happening?
Hey, Jeff, you're starting 10th. We've all seen this as a one-groove racetrack so far. Have you got a plan to get to the inside?
You can't really make anything happen. It's just got to happen for you. We get a hole, we're trying to get down. If we don't get a hole, we just have to wait it out until we do get one. That's all you can do. So it's a long race. We don't want to lose any more spots than we have to, but that's not our first priority.
Well, good luck to you.
Jeff Burton starting in 10th position in row 5. You look at the rest of the starting lineup for the New England 300 as the field is a half a lap from the green flag.
One thing you got to look at here at New Hampshire, it happens about 50% of the time, is getting down into turn 1, those first couple laps, you get this accordion effect, Benny. Everybody gets down there, gets on the brakes, the guys way in the back, maybe get in a little bit too hard, and that's where you start seeing just a little bit of bumping, but also that little bit of bumping gets you in the wall.
Tony Uri told me they better take care of these front fenders, because if you damage those front fenders and lose that downforce, your handle is going right out the window.
Drivers in on provisional spots for today's race, and we are set to go as Buckshot Jones brings up the back of the field. Hutch Strickland is dropped to the tail. He's in a backup car after a practice crash. We're underway at New Hampshire.
Martin just dove to the inside. He said, I got to get inside. Ricky Craven hung to the outside.
Bobby Hamilton and Ken Schrader almost scraping the wall off turn 2 for the first time. Here's that big accordion effect Wally was talking about.
Yeah, they actually got through 1 and 2 really clean there, so if they can make it through another lap or 2, I think they've got it made.
Gordon leads lap 1. Martin and Mayfield snug up on his bumper. There's Park in 4th, Hamilton in 5th.
Well, Jeff Burton certainly had no plan, because he still hung on the outside, trying to get by Ron Hornaday in the 14 car.
And Jimmy Spencer diving to his inside. Change for second. Jeremy Mayfield is by. And here's lap 3. Dale Earnhardt, and Steve Park driving for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated gets a place away from Mark Martin. That's 3rd. Had a little contact back in traffic. Tony Stewart and Ricky Craven got into it.
Ricky Craven, the 32 car, is just desperately trying to get to the inside of the racetrack, and Tony Stewart, I talked about taking care of that right front fender. Nothing Tony could do because the 32 car came down on him.
And that right front fender on Stewart's car does look to be pushed in.
Oh, we got a crash down in turn 1. Joe Nemechek, is that?
Elliott Sadler is involved in it. That's Elliott. And Nemechek, the other car, cautions out. There's Joe. First yellow coming out as the field completes the 5th lap of the New England 300.
Nemechek gets his car started and tries to drive away, but the field will go by and put him a lap down. A lot of damage to the left side of his automobile.
Chances are, when we go back and look at the replays on this, it will be 2 people both trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack entering the corner. And both trying to do it at the same place.
Oh, yeah, you get, well, first of all, you got 3 abreast going down into turn 1. That's not going to work. So...
And Elliott goes up and makes contact with the wall, as does the 33 of Joe Nemechek.
Kyle Petty in the 45 was the man on the outside there. And look at Dave Blaney.
3 on there, too.
They're trying to make it 4 abreast going down in the corner.
Blaney, it looked like he might have caught the back of Elliott's car as Elliott jammed on the brakes, but that just wasn't going to work. So the Wood Brothers car to the garage, and Joe Nemechek will no doubt take Andy Petrie's car back there for repairs as well. Under caution early in the New England 300. Jeff Gordon is the leader. We're back to New Hampshire after this. Back at New Hampshire International Speedway, a lap away from the restart in the New England 300. There are the top 5. Jeff Gordon has led all of the 8 laps completed so far. Storylines we're going to track throughout this day for you. The race for the championship. Gordon and Jarrett tied atop the points coming in, with Ricky Rudd just 18 behind. Kyle Petty's first race back here at New Hampshire in over a year. Hot, especially hot for northern New England today. We'll see how that affects the race. And we'll see how the heat and the cars and the rubber and the sealer all affect the track surface as well. Pit Road reports, Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, as we've discussed already, great concern among the drivers about the rubber buildup in the groove on the racetrack. You can't run over it and you can't run above it, because then your car starts to push. Watch for that as we go along to Matt.
Bill, the caution gave the 20 team an opportunity to take a look at that right front fender spotter. Mark Robertson took a look at it. He radioed back to Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief. Says there's no significant damage. Tony said the steering wheel is straight and the car appears to be okay. To Marty.
And Matt, the other side of that is that Tony Stewart came down on Ricky Craven, and it's not been a good weekend for the hometown guy, as Tony Stewart came down on him in lap 4. His left rear got a little bit of damage. The team says it's not that bad, but they're still pretty happy with the race car, and they think it can be a little bit better as the race goes along. Let's go to Alan Bestwick upstairs.
Back under green. Talked about before the start, everybody wanted to get to the bottom. Well, the single file restart, they're all there now. Gordon the leader, Mayfield second, Park third, Martin fourth, that's Todd Bodine in fifth. Ron Hornaday getting shoved up out of the inside lane.
Jimmy Spencer, the 26 car, passed Hornaday down the backstretch and is trying to get on the inside of Robert Presley in the 77. Can't quite make it. Here comes Ricky Rudd under Bill Elliott, and I saw some smoke off Rudd's car. Or was that making some contact with Bill Elliott?
Elliott tried to force his way to the bottom. John Andretti's going to try and not let him. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
Kyle Petty took the opportunity of that first caution to come in and make a wedge adjustment, guys. He was extremely loose, and as Marty mentioned in the pre-race, he just wants to get through today, so they thought an adjustment early would be better than trying to live with it.
The other two who stopped under that first caution were Terry Labonte and Hutch Strickland, and the cars of Elliott Sadler and Joe Nemechek are both back in the garage area.
Hutch Strickland had to go to a backup car because he did crash the 90 car in happy hour session yesterday afternoon.
Johnny Benson, left of your screen. Rick Mast, right. Looking out the back of Jeff Burton's car.
And Johnny Benson had oh, Rusty Wallace off the pace.
Oh, my goodness. Hear that from Rusty? Blew up. To the garage.
Wow.
Rusty Wallace, former winner here at New Hampshire. Talked with crew chief Robin Pemberton for an extended period of time this morning. Thought they had a car they could get up and maybe by a couple of adjustments later in the race contend for the win. He's out at lap 12. Matt Yoakum.
We stopped Robin Pemberton here on pit road. Robin, you're on your way back to the garage. Did Rusty say anything about what happened to the engine?
Something big. It's pretty terminal right now. We'll go back and look at it, but I'm sure it's over with.
Rusty fourth in the championship standings coming into today's race. He had moved to within 207 points of the leaders, Gordon and Jarrett. This is going to hurt.
Jeremy Mayfield, the 12 car in second spot. I'm telling you, Jeff Gordon, I think, realizes if Jeremy Mayfield gets up there, he's going to do some pushing and shoving because he wants to get in front.
Bill?
Benny Rusty, it's going to be interesting to see how much pushing Jeremy Mayfield does do if he can catch Gordon, because they radioed to Jeremy that Rusty blew up. Now remember, these guys are teammates. They told him, be careful, be gentle on that gas pedal. Rusty is done for the day. So watch that. The guy in second place has already lost his teammate to an engine problem.
Is this track particularly notorious for engine problems?
It shouldn't be, because you dip down to about 6,000 RPMs in the middle of the corner. They turn them about 9,000, 9,200, but they go down to 6,000 in the corner, so the average is 7,500. Last week in Chicago, the average was like 8,250, and that's what kills so many engines at Chicagoland.
Dave Burns.
Rusty Wallace lifted the hood himself, took a look. What did you find?
It broke a motor. I don't know what broke it. It seized up coming off of turn 2, and it's either a rod or a piston or something like that, but it blew big time, so we're out for today.
All right, that is a quick exit for a guy, in, like you said, Alan, 4th in points.
Watching the race for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and yeah, that is going to hurt Rusty Wallace significantly, Dave. Steve Park in the 1, Todd Bodine in the 66, and Dale Jarrett started 9th, moved up to 5th.
And he's underneath Todd Bodine for that spot.
4th place for DJ. I talked to Todd Bodine this morning. He was sitting on a jack stand by his car with his brow very furrowed. He said, we don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to throw all kinds of things at this car and hope it runs well. Not working out too badly so far, as Bodine is up in the top 5. Jeff Gordon leads early in the New England 300 here in New Hampshire. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Jeff Gordon leading the New England 300 here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Let's see, Fenway Park only holds about 37,000 or so these days. Foxborough, the Patriot Stadium, only holds about 55,000. Got 110,000 fans here at the NASCAR race in Loudon, New Hampshire today. Jeff Gordon's led all the laps so far. We are at lap 23 now. He's out in front by 2.145 seconds over Jeremy Mayfield. There you see the interval, and pretty good distance back to the new 3rd place runner, Dale Jarrett, who's just passed Steve Park for that position.
And now you can see on the racetrack how far that Jarrett is behind Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon, the green car. The yellow one is Dale Jarrett, who's currently in 3rd position.
It's about 4.6 seconds in actual time.
A lot of folks were concerned about, Jeff Gordon's out front. This is kind of like he was at Charlotte during the Coca-Cola 600. And he was running really strong at the beginning, as other cars did. But at the end, the fast cars faded. And that was the concern some teams had. Can you run all 300 miles here up front? Or is the racetrack going to change to the point that Jeff Gordon's car will go away?
Well, I think if you've got a good race car to begin with, you're going to have to make smaller adjustments to keep up with the racetrack and the conditions. If you're in the middle of the pack or the back of the pack, you're going to have to make some big adjustments just to get it in the hunt. I also think that the way this rubber builds up on the racetrack, the shock package may come into play. The guy that has the best shock package to work around that rubber and over that rubber might be real important.
This is 11th place, Ron Hornaday in the 14 and Jeff Burton in the 99. Burton going to take that spot from him in the center of the corner. 3 drivers in the garage right now. One of them's with Dave Burns.
And that is Elliott Sadler. Elliott, a lot of work going on in there. Looks like a bent clip. Can it race again?
No, we're going to have to replace the clip with a race. We're just going to try to get out and make a few laps. Maybe some of these other guys will have problems. Just shame for the Motorcraft board Taurus. We usually don't make mistakes that early in the race that much, but I thought I was under the 33 enough, and then I locked my brakes up, slid into him, just run out of room. Just it's a tough deal.
I'll tell you what, these guys are working hard on this, because whereas a driver might be really proud of clicking off a fast qualifying lap, the crew is most proud of this stat, that they finish every race, and they will make every effort to make sure Elliott is running at the end of this race today.
A front clip is the front frame section where the engine sets in, where the suspension hooks on. That's what they refer to as the front clip. It is bent, so they'll have to replace it, but right now they can just straighten it enough he can get back on the racetrack and run the minimum speed which is probably 110 or 15 miles per hour.
I guess that front fender hasn't been much of a problem for Tony Stewart. He just took 13th spot away from Ken Schrader. He started back in 25th.
And now we can see the right front fender where he made contact with Ricky Craven.
12th position is Stewart's.
But his car will be better when they get in there and take that tire off and beat that fender back out. That will make his race car better.
To get back to Elliott a little bit, there's nothing fun about doing what he's talking about doing. I mean, getting that car fixed just so you could go out, make some laps. You're looking in the mirror more than you're looking at the windshield. That's the worst thing for a driver and a team. You know, a team hates to have to watch that car go out there and limp around, but it's such a premium on every point in the championship, you have to do it.
Kevin Harvick on the move. Started back in 24th position. He just took 14th from Ken Schrader. This after, as you heard at the end of our pre-race show, arriving here at 3 a.m. fresh from winning last night's NASCAR Busch Series race in St. Louis that you saw here on TNT.
That 10 car, Johnny Benson, in our happy hour show yesterday, he was by far the best car. Dale Jarrett moves into second spot.
But Gordon is down the road a ways. Onboard telemetry for Dale Jarrett's Ford.
And you see he goes down to about 5,700, 5,800 RPMs in the corner. He builds up to 8, 85, about 9,000 RPMs before he backs off.
You never used to be able to even dream about turning an engine that many RPM. It wouldn't live.
Yeah, those Indy cars run that kind of RPM, but not stock cars. And we see Jarrett a little over 150 miles per hour when he backs off to go in turn 3. Man, that car has some acceleration.
Jeff Gordon is out in front of Jarrett by 4.6 seconds. It's about 2/3 the distance of the back straightaway. The third driver that is in the garage right now, we heard from Elliott Sadler and Rusty Wallace. Joe Nemechek is with Dave Burns.
Alan, he started 28th today, and Joe, I guess this is the main reason why you don't want to start that far back, guys, trying to get to the front too early.
I think so. You know, a little bit of impatience there. Whoever tried making it 3 wide, getting in turn 1, it wasn't the time to do it. Just wasn't enough room. The track's really slick at the start of the race. I know when I was in the high groove, I was really loose. Just got up underneath Kyle Petty, and going in 1, all of a sudden I got turned around backwards. Not good. Thing hit the wall pretty good on the left side, but I'm okay. Want to say hello to Andrew and the kids, everybody back home. They're going to fix it, but it's wrecked pretty good, and we'll be ready to go to Pocono next week.
The track that Joe likes very much, and he hasn't had that great a start since he came back from injury. He's had a 27th at Daytona and a 16th at Chicago last week, so he will look forward to Pocono.
Burns has been busy on the garage beat here. 3 drivers already back behind the wall in the opening 35 circuits of the New England 300. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. NASCAR on TNT from the New Hampshire International Speedway. It's the New England 300 and leader Jeff Gordon coming up on the back of the field. He's up on Dale Jarrett by 3.5 seconds. He's lost about a second since catching this group of cars.
That's Strickland, the 90 car that he's about to put a lap down in the backup car. And Hutt has to be careful because that's his Brickyard 400 car
that they're supposed to test in Indianapolis day after tomorrow.
Jeremy Mayfield, the 12 car, is falling back as Mark Martin goes by.
Got a lot of emails and a lot of letters from people suggesting that here in New Hampshire, in memory of Kenny Irwin and Adam Petty, we sort of duplicate our Dale Earnhardt tribute. Here's lap 42. This is the race for 5th, 6th, and 7th we're looking at. Jeremy Mayfield in the 12, Todd Bodine in the 66, Ricky Rudd in the 28. Check that, this is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Mark Martin in the 6 cars running 5th. Up ahead of this, Jimmy Spencer has moved into the 4th position.
As I said a moment ago, Jeremy's car starting to fade just a little bit. You saw a little wiggle from Todd Bodine as he came off turn 2.
And now we come to the 45th lap. And we stand silent in memory of Adam Petty. Running in 33rd position. The man on the move in this race is Tony Stewart. He's continuing to pick him off. Stewart just moving up to the 8th spot around Jeremy Mayfield.
And honestly, guys, I really believe this car is going to get better when they pull that right front fender out and beat that ding he has on the right front.
Ricky Rudd next up in Stewart's line of vision. Stewart having picked up 17 positions already in this race. Bobby Labonte with a nice move up 13 spots. Jerry Nadeau picking his way into the middle of the field, but the big impressive move so far is Stewart, who's up into the top 10 and climbing. Todd Bodine in the 66 is 6th, and Ricky Rudd is 7th.
Watching all these cars around, the 88 car is flying right now. He is chomping down on Jeff.
And Alan, patience being preached on the radio to Ricky Rudd. He started 14th. He is up to 7th. Before the race started, they had a radio problem. They quickly resolved that problem, but Ricky was a little panicked, to be honest. They had to calm him down in the first few laps. The car very consistent. In fact, it gets a little better the longer he runs. Now, when you talk to Ricky about the championship chase, he says, you know what? We're the underdog. There's no pressure on us. There's pressure on Gordon. There's pressure on Jarrett because they've won it before. Everybody expects them to win it. Nobody expects us to win it. And Benny, to be honest, when you won your championship, you were the underdog. I think that's the greatest position to be in. Don't you agree?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Who in the world expected me in 1973 after just 3 years in NASCAR Winston Cup competition to beat Richard Petty or Cale Yarborough?
I did.
I wasn't born yet.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Tony Stewart grabbed another spot. Did you see him come off turn 4, just turn that 20 car left and take the position away from Ricky Rudd?
I can't believe you're picking on Benny like that.
I know it.
Of course, he did just have one of those birthdays that ends in an O. And
100?
He wasn't happy about that day either. Tony Stewart is romping his way toward the front, but he's got a little ways to go before he catches Jeff Gordon. Gordon has led every lap so far of the New England 300. We're 50 laps in to the event. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The New England 300 on TNT from New Hampshire International Speedway is 54 laps old of the 300 that will make up the event. Our NASCAR Busch Series update, Kevin Harvick won the CarQuest 250 in St. Louis last night. You see the championship standings. Greg Biffle finished well, but Harvick extending his advantage over Biffle in the championship standings with the Busch Series heading to Pikes Peak Raceway in Colorado Springs this coming Saturday. Harvick in today's race running in 13th position after starting back in 24th. You see Harvick on the weekends where he's played Rocket Man, jumping back and forth to the different tracks. It's been better on the Busch Series side than it has been the Winston Cup side for him those weekends.
When he has a good finish in the Busch Series, he doesn't do well in the Cup. When he has a bad finish in the Busch, he does well on the Cup side.
Well, he won last night, so I'm sure he hopes to break that pattern today. Back-to-back wins for Harvick. If you want to go with last Sunday's Tropicana 400, the Winston Cup side, and then last night's 250 in St. Louis on the Busch Series side.
Looking right here, he's got a big push right in the center of the corner right there.
Race for 7th place. And Tony Stewart moving up some more ahead of that as he's just gone around Jimmy Spencer to grab 5th.
Tony Stewart has been very, very impressive in that 20 car. Well, we figured he would be, but man, here's Ricky Rudd closing up on the back of the 26 and 66, 2 of the Kmart cars, twin cars.
Spencer in 6th, Todd Bodine in 7th, Ricky Rudd in 8th. As the leaders work some lap traffic, Tony Stewart now starting to close in on Mark Martin for 4th. Stewart's record here in New Hampshire is amazing. His finishes in 4 previous races here. He's got a 10th, a 2nd, a win. Then he had a problem and had a 23rd place finish, but he was leading that race and ran out of gas on the white flag lap. No, excuse me, that was the 10th place finish when he ran out of gas on the white flag lap.
Mark Martin saw Tony Stewart and said, hey, he's too fast for me. I'll just move up and let him go by. Dave?
Benny, he is so quick that teammate Bobby Labonte, who can talk to Tony and to his spotter, hopped on the radio and said, hey, what line is he running? And they told him, and Bobby started to pick up positions.
Caution out, Johnny Benson is in trouble. He has gotten into the wall with the right side of his car in turn 1 while running in the 11th spot.
That's a tough break because Johnny had a really good car.
Well, he really did. That is so tough.
Oh, and there's some pretty big damage there, too. Look at the rear end housing. See how much gap there is between that right side fender and the rear end? That means it's probably been moved over to the left a little bit.
And I was talking about taking care of the front fenders because of downforce. Well, that right front tire is just going to knock that right front fender off probably before he can get back in. And there's Benson. He goes in the corner. It looks almost like the tire might have gone flat, or maybe the brakes didn't work properly. I don't know.
A talk with Johnny this morning. He had high hopes for a good run today. He said, we've run well here in New Hampshire a lot. We've just never been able to get a good finish out of it. Happened again. Pit stops at lap number 61. Matt Yoakum.
The 3rd car in line. Steve Hart makes his way to his pit stall. He was a little bit tight when he tried to get back in the gas. Paul Andrews tells me they will try to make a slight wedge adjustment. This will be a 4-tire change on the Pennzoil Chevrolet. There you can see Chad Walter with a wedge adjustment. Stick him around the left side of the car. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Jeff Gordon in his stall getting 4 tires, a little loose going into 1, but he says everyone is loose there. He's tight coming off of 4. He and Jarrett race off of pit road.
And Mark Martin almost got hit. May, in fact, have gotten hit in that big traffic jam. Matt?
Alan, it was too close to call, but 3 cars, the 1, the 6, and another car all came together. Mark Martin tried to get around that. It looked very close to whether he might have brushed the wall. We're going to have to look at the tape.
Todd Bodine lost all kind of ground on that pit stop, too.
Remember I was talking on the pre-race show. You got to get out of the pit, but you got to be careful with all these people coming. Oh, wow. That's close.
That is so close. But it looks like Jeff Gordon might have it by an inch, 2 inches. Man, is that close.
Now, the Ford guys would say Jeff Gordon got it by that extra, the extra extension on the front nose piece that the Chevrolet has that the Fords don't. And the Chevy guys would say it wouldn't matter because Gordon had the first pit stall.
And they were faster.
Let's see what happened to Mark Martin. There he leaves pit road. And looks like he has to slow down. And Tony Stewart runs in the back of Mark as Mark was trying to slow down the speed or to avoid another car.
Well, we saw bump drafting at Daytona, but you're not supposed to do that on pit road. It wasn't hard enough to cause damage to either car, I don't think.
I don't think it was.
So, the race off of pit road was an exciting one. We'll come back for the restart in just a minute. About 3/4 of a lap from the restart here at the New England 300. Our pit summary. most everybody holding serve, although Tony Stewart lost a few positions.
Backed up 3. Look at Jimmy Spencer from 6th to 3rd. Boy, Jimmy.
Todd Bodine in 7th, out 19th. Ouch. Now take a look at this. Casey Atwood's crew.
Ed Watkins, the jack man, he's watching the left front guy, but Ed gets a little lazy. He lets the car down, but he doesn't pull the jack out. And watch this as Casey Atwood runs over the jack, spins it back into the rear tire changer's leg. That hurts. Man, you got to be sure when you let that jack down to jerk it from under the car.
Here we go, back for the restart. Sterling Marlin stayed out, led a lap, collected bonus points for the championship, then pitted. He's way back in the field, 31st position.
Well, Jeff got a great restart, and that's what you have to do here. You don't want to be on the outside of these restarts, or any time for that matter. Put a little distance in between him and the 88 car there.
Cars that are not on the lead lap at this point were overtaken by Jeff Gordon before the caution. The 44 of Buckshot Jones that Dale Jarrett is trying to deal with now. Robbie Gordon in the 31. Kevin LePage in the 4. Stacy Compton in the 92. Jason Leffler in the 01. Hud Strickland in the 90. Terry Labonte in the 5. And Kurt Busch in the 97. Kurt made an unscheduled green flag pit stop just before the yellow came out.
Jones in that 44 car doesn't have a very bad piece.
But if you're Dale Jarrett, you're getting madder by the minute.
Oh, yeah. He's saying to himself, now look, Buckshot, you're a lap down. Please move over. Give me a little courtesy. Let me go by to see if I can't chase down Jeff Gordon.
And Dale's not going to wait long. He's going to lay that bumper on him if he doesn't get out of the way pretty quick.
Another driver who's moved up nicely in the opening laps, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Started in 29th position. He's up to 13th. Junior, chasing Jerry Nadeau.
Talking to Richie Gilmore, the engine builder, and he said that Dale Jr. was really happy with his car. Felt like he had a really good race car to win this New England 300 today.
Nadeau started in 38th. He's up to 12th.
I talked to Tony this morning, and I looked at the right rear spring that was in that car, and I didn't see the number, but it's a big right rear spring. He looked at me and he said, we're not going to be tight today. There's no way. So looks like the 25's turning pretty good right now.
Nadeau's crew chief, Tony Furr. Let's get more on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s race. Here's Dave.
Well, the great thing is the car right in front of him, you mentioned he was chasing Jerry Nadeau. They only changed 2 tires, but Dale Earnhardt Jr., their crew changed 4. So they got him on and off pit road, made a slight adjustment with air pressure to loosen the car up a bit in the center of the corner, but that was a fast 4-tire stop.
Jeremy Mayfield way back in traffic. Remember, he was running as high as 2nd earlier in the 12 car.
Ran so well those first 15, 20 laps and then started fading back.
Mayfield at 14th.
A lot of these guys are paying attention now to what everybody else is doing, like on this 4-tire, 2-tire deal. Because that's going to come into play towards the end of the race. Should I take 2? Should I take 4? Should I just take fuel and go? So they're all watching each other.
A lot of teams right now have their stopwatch out, and they're timing this 25 car to see how fast he can run with 2-tire change versus how fast Jeff Gordon can run with a 4-tire change. Because they may want to do exactly the same thing on the last stop. 2 tires. Remember when Jeff Gordon won the race here with 2-tire stop and made Jack Roush so mad?
Yeah. Set off that whole tire controversy in the garage area that had Ray Evernham walking around saying, it's just air, Jack. Because Jack said, there's no way you can take 2 tires and beat my race car that had 4. They had to be doing something wrong.
Hey, Buckshot's not in DJ's way right now.
No, he's not.
And he's in a good spot. I mean, if the yellow does come out, he's close enough to the 24, but if the 24 will give him a little slack, he can get his lap back.
More on on Jeff Gordon's race from Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, good in 1 and 2, a little tight off of 4, as we talked about, but they opted not to make any changes. They worked very hard on this car in the 2 practice sessions here on Saturday. 45-minute sessions. Normally we call that happy hour, but they've changed the format as we know this year. In fact, Jeff came in after the first practice session, the first 45 minutes, and said, whatever changes you're going to make them big, because right now this car isn't very good. So now he's very happy, no changes on that car. One other thing to think about, Benny and Wally, about Jeff Gordon, back in his glory days, not that long ago, of course, when he was with Evernham, when they were struggling like they have the last 2 weeks, it always seemed like they came to a track where Jeff Gordon could run great. 37th at Daytona, 17th last week in Chicago. Now he comes to Loudon, a track where he has a great history, and look at him go.
Yeah, Bill, Jeff Gordon's record here is nothing short of remarkable. He's finished no worse than 6th in his last 7 New Hampshire races, including 2 wins in that time. Tony Stewart on the move. This is for 4th. Check that for 5th position.
That's what I want to see. I want that 20 and 24 to get hooked up and see which one of those 2 cars will be the fastest. Matt, what about the 20 car?
Well, Benny, this morning I pulled a number of crew chiefs in the garage, and the greatest fear was the 20 car. Would Tony Stewart be as dominant without the bump stops, which were outlawed earlier this year? And it looks like he is just as lethal. He came on the radio right before that last caution and said, do not change a thing. He says, our qualifying package is less than satisfactory, but our race package is awesome. He says right now they're looking at possibly making 1 air pressure adjustment on the next stop to help the car roll to the corners a little bit better, but right now it's straight off and straight into the corners.
I talked to Tony this morning. I said, how are you? What do you need for the race today? He said, just some sleep. He went to a dirt track race last night over in eastern New York State. Came back late. Said, I just need a little bit more sleep and I'll be fine. Jeff Gordon leads. Dale Jarrett in 2nd, who's under pressure from Jimmy Spencer. The other title player is Ricky Rudd, and he holds down 4th position in the New England 300. Our Wendy's race menu next weekend. It's on the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, that giant 2.5-mile, 3-corner track where we always see some great competition. 12:30 Eastern Time. 2 weeks from today, the Brickyard 400 at Indy. Then it's on to the Watkins Glen Road Course and the 2-miler in Michigan.
Folks, if you remember this morning, I was talking about, if you watch the pre-race show, how important it is to get your car in the box and get it in properly. Watch the guy in the right front. Boom! Gets hit by the 15. And what happened there, if Ricky could have got his car to the left a little bit further, he wouldn't have to swing so far out into pit lane as the 15 was coming into his pit.
It's Michael Waltrip's view. Is Michael at fault here?
No, not really, because Michael was just trying to get a better shot in his pit. The 32 car should have been further in the pit to...
Marty?
Well, the best part, guys, is that Jim Carbon, the man who was carrying the front tire, finished the pit stop. And that's why Cal Wells makes his team wear those safety helmets. You're looking at Jim Carbon right now, and he was fine after that stop. Finished the stop. They were actually pretty happy with the time, too.
How about shoulder pads and hip pads and the rest of it?
Those big leathers with the pads in them that the motorcycle racers wear.
Craven right now is running in the 21st position. Behind this guy, he's the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Out in front of Dale Jarrett by 2.7 seconds. And Jarrett still getting a lot of pressure from Jimmy Spencer. Thought for a minute that Jimmy was going to be able to get up there and poke the nose underneath, but after a brief try, he's fallen back in line. We've got Ricky Rudd 4th, Tony Stewart 5th, then Steve Parks 6th, Mark Martin 7th, Jeff Burton 8th, and John Andretti 9th. There's the race from 6th.
When you get on throttle here, you got to be aggressive with it, but you can't just jump on the gas here because it's so slippery and the car's pushed so bad getting out the corner. It's almost like when I drive here, I keep telling myself, make believe you're stepping on eggshells. You don't want to break them. That's how you got to get on the throttle here. And if you listen to the in-car camera sometimes in these cars, listen. See how now, he sneaks up on the gas. That's the right way to do it to get off these corners.
For one reason, he was sneaking up on the back of Steve Park's car. Hard left. You know, I was hoping that this groove would move out a little bit, but this sealer, so far they're all able to run on the very bottom of the racetrack. No one is venturing up high. They only go up there when someone gets on the inside and kind of roots them up there. There we see Steve Park, Mark Martin, both got down the straightaway. Top speed on Steve Park was 154 miles per hour. He'll go down in the corner, and his slowest speed will down to 96 miles per hour.
The Williams race chase as we follow the bouncing bubbles. Got a car in trouble in turn 2. It's Jeremy Mayfield. Caution is out. Bill, what happened?
Blew a tire, Alan. I can't see it from down here because we were actually looking to work with this team because they had a problem with the right front on the previous run. Jeremy, on the radio, blew a tire.
It looks exactly like Johnny Benson's front tire. I wonder if these guys are using the brakes so much that they're melting the bead.
But ain't gonna matter now.
I wonder if they're melting the bead on that front tire with the brakes. So much temperature.
Explain what the bead is on a tire.
Where it mounts to the rim. And the brakes is right there by that bead on the rim, and sometimes it gets so hot it just melts the rubber.
And that right front is going to be the hottest spot on that car when it comes to brakes. The rotor, the brakes, the caliper, that's the hottest point of that race car. So you could be right, Benny.
Pit stop's going to happen here about 30 laps after they did last time. So let's see what we get for leaders coming in and tire strategies and so on. Bill?
Well, first of all, Jeremy Mayfield has made it back to pit road. Obviously wanted to get here as quickly as possible. Has right front damage, getting right side tires. They're going to have to beat the sheet metal away. Talking to his crew, can't get that tire off the car, basically because of the impact. So the lug nuts are snug on there, trying to loosen them, using a hammer, everything they can just to try and break it free to grab that tire, get it off of there. So trouble for the crew on pit road. Now they've got another hammer. Jeremy sits there very frustrated. What had happened earlier in the race, they now have the tire off, was the car was just sliding up the track. It wasn't tight, it wasn't loose. It was almost like a full four-wheel slide up the track, especially in 1 and 2. He actually took a chunk out of his right front tire on the previous run. This tire hadn't been on there very long. Now they've got 4 fresh tires and fuel to pull the sheet metal away. Already have lost at least 1 lap, may lose more here sitting on pit road. So disappointment early for Jeremy Mayfield.
Here's another look at what happened to Jeremy Mayfield down in turn 1.
It looks like Johnny Benson all over again. It's almost exactly the same thing.
And in fact, we did get a report a minute ago from Benson's team that it was a cut right front tire that caused his impact earlier. We talked that it was good. It was a very warm day, exceptionally warm for northern New England today. And what kind of impact would the heat have on the race? You're talking brake heat related to the outside air. We'll explore the story more when we come back to New Hampshire. Next weekend on TNT, our coverage of the race for the championship continues. Friday, it's Bud Pole qualifying from Pocono Raceway. CNN Sports Illustrated is the place at 3 Eastern time. Saturday, we'll have coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup final practice at noon Eastern. Then the ARCA race from Pocono, the Pepsi ARCA 200 at 1 Eastern time. And the Napa Auto Care 250 Busch Series race from Colorado Springs. That one's on NBC. It's the Pennsylvania 500 from Pocono for the Winston Cup Series next Sunday on TNT. And we're back at it. Green flag.
All right. The first 19 cars chose not to pit to stay on the racetrack. 20 on back, stop, change tires.
Jam up there.
Got about a half dozen cars a lap or more down to the inside, clogging up the way for the leaders. There's the change for second place. Jimmy Spencer by Dale Jarrett.
what you said earlier, Alan, about the outside temperature having something to do with the brakes is true, because the hotter it is outside, the hotter the temperature of the track's going to be. That air going inside the front nose of that car, if the track is 130 degrees, you're basically getting 130-degree air going inside to cool the brakes. That's not much to cool the brake off.
So if it were 10 or 15 degrees cooler today, maybe
but I'll tell you,
Benson might not have had their problem.
Something else that's a problem, if these guys are really tight, you're going to use a little bit more brake, because you have to use the brake to set the nose to help you turn the car sometimes. So I'll tell you, the guys that are using less brake are guys that are on the top 5. Their cars are rolling through the corner good. They're not having to use the brake so much.
Look at this log jam. Everybody trying to get around the lap car of Jason Leffler, the 01.
Oh, and Junior's trying to get to the inside, but Bobby Labonte is there, and he's getting some heat from Hornaday in the back. He finally gets to the inside, or did he? Yes, he did. And Hornaday's trying to go by on the outside. Come on, Ron Hornaday, show him that outside groove will work. Oh, 3 wide. Oh, attaboy, Kenny, way to back off the gas and let Ron save his life there.
That was give and take. Lots of give from Kenny Schrader.
Dale Jr. to 13th. Another look at this log jam off of turn number 2.
For the 9 car, Kevin Harvick never sees some contact between Jason Leffler and 01 and the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
The 8 actually got contact in a left front by the 29. Wow. There's another close call.
8th place, John Andretti and Jeff Burton. Here comes Harvick. Charging to the inside. Terry Labonte in the 5's a lap down. Bill Weber.
Okay, back here at Tire Repair Central, Alan. This is the right front tire off of Jeremy Mayfield, the second right front tire. Obviously, they've come to an agreement down here that he blew the tire. They're not really sure why. They said eventually they'll find out. The Goodyear engineer working this pit speculates it might have been too much camber with an aggressive setup. This is the first right front tire off Jeremy Mayfield's car. Take a look at this. The wear pins are good tire wear. But every now and then you'll find a spot in a tire when it combines with a track that gets very hot where one little spot will blister. You can see this one did right here. Very unusual, except when track temperatures are very high. Track temperature right now, 129 degrees higher than when we started the race about an hour ago. Down pit road today.
And we are with Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy, they took a look at your tire. Some speculation about whether you guys might have had an aggressive camber setup. What's your and the team's assessment right now?
I'm sure, we ran in practice, everything looked good, and I never heard nothing after they changed the first set, so I assumed they were okay and just went in the corner and it didn't turn. It could be anything, it's, could have run over something or whatever, but, I don't know what to say. We had a bad year so far, just got to keep digging and try to turn it around here.
What do you think about the possibility of even excessive brake heat on this track?
It could be, but we, like I said, our brake temps, everything yesterday looked good, and just, I don't think it's brake temps, just something else seemed like.
All right, and they'll look it over real good, find out what the problem was in the end, guys.
I talked to the Goodyear engineers this morning. They were concerned about the tires are not wearing. And, when the tires wear, they cool. They were concerned about the tires not wearing and getting too hot and chunks pulling out of the tire.
See, the air temperature's gone up 1 degree, but the track temperature's gone up a couple of degrees. That 129 number, that is abnormally high for a racing surface.
Right now it's overcast, which that's the greatest thing that's happened right now, because this racetrack is going to cool off a little bit as the clouds are over the sun.
Second place
back in front of gets back in front of Jimmy Spencer.
So the two who are tied for the lead in the race for the championship are in the top 2 positions in the New England 300. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. on now to NASCAR.com and check out the Conseco NASCAR Fantasy Challenge. Pick your own team of drivers and see how you match up against other fantasy teams. Log on today and you might just win the replica of the number 14 Conseco Winston Cup Pontiac. Third of the way into the New England 300. In our pre-race show, we showed you track conditions this morning.
Yeah, that's what it looked like before the race. Now, as these guys are running, they're looking for grip. They're running down below that yellow line. They're looking for some traction. They're not going high to find it. Now we're going to see what the track looks like right now. Look how dirty it is up there. Look at, see how everybody's running low. Look at the yellow line. It's black.
What yellow line? There is no yellow
line.
Usually the groove, these cars will move up the racetrack to find grip. This is really strange. They're moving down to find grip.
And so all of this rubber building up on top of this surface means what to the driver besides the fact that he's moving down?
Well, you can't run on it if there's no grip up there, especially when it starts glopping. You start getting these big strips of rubber. And when you hit that with the car, you hit it, and it just scoots the whole car up the racetrack.
I think he made up another word on us. Glopping.
That goes with grippier and grabbier?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get the dictionary of Dallin back here. The heck with Webster's.
But you knew what I was saying.
Yes, we understood.
I think so.
That's what's really scary is you two both understood.
I think the glob is a large clump, right?
Exactly.
Believe me, it's scary to us, too. Jeff Gordon has not had anything scary about his day so far. He's been out in front for just about every lap of this race. There was only one lap he did not lead, but that's when the front runners came down pit road at lap 61 and Sterling Marlin stayed out for a lap to lead and get 5 championship bonus points. Other than that, it's been Gordon all the way. And we're back in the field watching the race for 9th. Jeff Burton in the 99 car in 9th, followed by Kevin Harvick in the 29. Then Jerry Nadeau and Todd Bodine.
I thought Harvick was going to pass Nadeau. But he's being passed instead by Jerry Nadeau. And here we see Tony Stewart getting by Robbie Gordon, the 31 car. The 31 is a lap down.
And Tony's in 5th position.
And here's this battle between Nadeau and Harvick and Todd Bodine.
Nadeau to 10th and Harvick caught where you don't want to be.
They're out there, no man's land there.
Bobby Labonte joining this group. He started 35th today. He's about to get 12th.
And Harvick just turned left after Todd Bodine got by.
I think Bobby was pretty much a gentleman on that deal, left 29 in. Now he's blocking him.
Block.
And Junior's going to dive in there. Oh.
So Harvick's backing up. Let's mention that Elliott Sadler has come back onto the racetrack from the garage 103 laps down. Johnny Benson has also just come back onto the racetrack 52 laps down.
Harvick is tight right now. He's got his hands full with that car right in the center. Like we saw earlier, they haven't made that car a whole lot better yet.
DJ is running down Jeff Gordon, getting closer and closer. Bill Weber.
Benny, you always talk about the mental aspect of this sport, right?
Yes.
Yeah, whether it's points or how your car's running or the track you're going to, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Dale Jarrett comes here. He's got 6 top 7 finishes in the last 7 races. That's good, right?
Yes.
The only one that was bad was 18 in 1999.
That's the year he won the championship.
Yeah. His best finish here was 2nd back in 96. So that's all building confidence, right?
Yes.
Okay, then you go to Martinsville earlier this year and you win.
Well, this is a big Martinsville, right?
Right, and guess which car he's in?
Martinsville car.
You got it, BP.
All right.
And the car's just a little bit loose. Todd Parrott on the last lap. Very smooth, good lap. Just hit your marks. Here comes the 88.
Williams race chase. Jarrett closing in.
I remember correctly, which I don't remember much, but 28 car ran pretty good at Martinsville, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And he is coming as well.
You see the pace the Distance between the two cars remained about the same that time.
Yeah, Jarrett kind of caught Elliott Sadler's car at a worse part of the racetrack than Jeff Gordon did.
At an awkward spot, in other words.
They're being so, I can hear it. I mean, the motors are smooth. They're so smooth off the throttle on that thing. Let's see if we can listen to it getting off the corner. Eggshells.
Very
thinking
smooth.
about them eggshells.
On the brake.
30.05, same as the leader.
30.05, same speed as Jeff Gordon. Down below that yellow line.
Let's check out speeds at the line.
Look at that, over 127 miles per hour. And remember, these cars did not pit the last time.
Speaking of which, they stopped at lap 60, 61. We're at lap 120 now, so we're about another 30 laps away from these guys having a pit if another caution doesn't come out. The race for the championship, the top three in points are in the top three positions in the New England 300. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Back in New Hampshire, it's happened again. Dave Blaney in trouble in turn one.
The third time in exactly the same picture. Three different cars, a Pontiac, a Ford, and a Dodge with a right front tire going flat on these guys.
Now, I'm a driver, and I'm getting a little bit concerned. One happens, two happens, but I know that three cars have blown tires down, hit the wall, so that's going to start playing on all these guys' minds right now.
Do you know that, though?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, they've all crashed at the same place, so you know that. And usually you're asking the crew chief what's going on, and he'll say, hey, we're cutting out some right fronts. We got to make an adjustment to a right front tire pressure or be easy on the brakes, but they're going to let you know that there's a problem out there. If that's what happened, we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit. That looks like what happened.
Let's take a look. Now, with the way the skid marks go up the racetrack, it'd be a pretty telltale sign.
Sure looks that way.
So Dave Blaney is the third driver to have problems. Johnny Benson and Jeremy Mayfield, the other two who went up the hill in the same way in turn number one. So the caution saves the leaders from having to make green flag pit stops. And at lap number 127, here they all come.
I think you'll see four tires. I mean, I would take four tires, especially because it's under caution right now.
Let's go to Marty.
Ricky Rudd comes down pit road at 45 miles an hour. Very little conversation on that last run. The longer they ran, the better they got. The car started a little bit tight, but it got a little looser the longer he ran. They will take four tires, and they will make no adjustments on Ricky Rudd's car. Again, they are very good on long runs. In fact, they think they're better than their teammate, Dale Jarrett, on the long runs. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Jeff Gordon on pit road, wedge adjustment to try and correct a push between turns 1 and 2. Long time on the left rear, long time. Gordon will lose the battle off pit road to the 18 and maybe even to the 20.
Matt Yoakum has an update on Tony Stewart's stop.
A good stop for Tony Stewart. It was a four-tire change. No chassis adjustments, just an air pressure adjustment in both left side tires. They went down a half a pound.
Well, nobody's been able to pass Jeff Gordon on the racetrack so far, but Dale Jarrett's team just helped him around on pit road.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. took on four tires. They reduced the air pressure in the rear to try to give him a little bit more grip.
Let's check out the race off pit road.
Jarrett goes by. Now, who's going to win this race? Is it Rudd or is it Gordon? It looks like it is Ricky Rudd.
Wow.
Yep. Man, is
That's
that close.
close. That looks like the finish of the race in Atlanta back in March with Harvick and Gordon, right? Under caution in the New England 300 on TNT. back at the New England 300. NASCAR on TNT. Off of pit stops, Dale Jarrett is the new leader. See our pit summary. Jeff Gordon losing a couple spots. And actually, after reviewing that videotape, Gordon's been put up to third and Steve Park back to fourth, which is correct as it should be.
Right. And you see Schrader here jumped up a bunch. Those guys made a two-tire pit stop, Benny. So track position to them is going to be more important. I don't know.
We'll see how that works out.
Schrader came in 16th, came out 5th. Will it work? We'll find out here over these next 40 or 50 laps. Pace cars off for the first time all day. Dale Jarrett is the leader, and we go back racing.
Go.
2 front cars, 88-28 cleared that traffic, and that's a big advantage right now. They're going to put as much space as they can between them and that 24 car.
Here's Gordon looking under Jason Leffler in the 01. Passing flag being waved at Leffler to let him know a lead lap car is trying to come through. It's kind of a throwback to the days before drivers had radios in their helmets. With your spotters on the roof, you don't really look at that flag, do you?
No, you know they're there as well. I mean, you got one shot at least trying to get it back.
Wally, don't go there. Don't tell the NASCAR folks you don't look at that passing flag. They would be very angry if you didn't check out that passing flag occasionally. It's actually, it warns the driver there are faster cars behind you. You should be careful. We call it the passing flag or move over flag. Get out of the way flag.
What do you mean don't let NASCAR hear? You got a spotter on the roof. He's talking to you on the radio. NASCAR wants you to do something on the track. They talk to the spotter to tell you.
You see the flag, but it's always for somebody else.
Oh, that's right. Exactly.
For me.
Why don't that guy get out of the way? Oh, it's me they're talking about.
Here's Tony Stewart going to make it 3 deep on 2 lap cars.
John Andretti's been able to get by the 36 car of Kenny Schrader.
Stewart running in 5th. Jimmy Spencer in the 26 is 6th.
And there's the man. Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon.
Jarrett's leading today is important for a couple of reasons. He collects 5 bonus points toward the championship for leading a lap, which Gordon had already done today. And Jarrett can't afford to give up any more bonus points to Jeff Gordon. Jeff has earned 100 points for leading laps or the most laps in races this year. Jarrett's only earned 50 of those points and Rudd 40. So the fact that Gordon is still tied for the championship can be completely accounted right now to that lap leader bonus points that he has doubled Jarrett on this year. Marty?
And Alan, you're exactly right. With Ricky Rudd's team, that has been a focus. They'll say they're not counting points, but they count every point they get. You just mentioned that he is 60 points behind Jeff Gordon in bonus points. Now, that's a big disadvantage, so they are trying to not only lead a lap, but they want to try to lead the most laps in as many races as they can because they would hate to get to October and be that far down in bonus points. So it's very critical for Ricky Rudd and his team. Big focus on leading laps and trying to lead the most laps.
All right, here you go. Role-playing game for Benny and Wally. You're Robert Yates. You've got Dale Jarrett tied with Gordon for the championship. Ricky Rudd just 18 points behind. That's 4 finishing positions in this race. Jarrett's led a lap, collected 5 bonus points. Do you issue team orders to him to allow Rudd to lead a lap and collect those 5 bonus points?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, sir. Robert Yates will never do that. He'll let Ricky Rudd go out and earn those bonus points.
I don't think so. Because you know what? It's going to come down to it may need that 88 may need that favor from the 28, and that may be the difference between the championship at the end of the year.
I'm not sure that Dale Jarrett's going to be able to do anything about it because it looks like that Ricky Rudd might be a little bit faster than Dale Jarrett right now.
30-15, 05 behind you.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, Ricky, I've been watching him the whole race, and he has been good.
A tenth of a second faster than Dale Jarrett that time.
We do say this. While I agree with Benny that Robert Yates won't issue Jarrett team orders, the one thing these both drivers know is that their team orders in general are don't take each other out. If Rudd gets up there to challenge Jarrett for the lead, he will not fight him as hard as he might if it were Gordon.
I agree with that. But Robert Yates is not going to be part of that decision.
There's Robert Yates. The professor.
I disagree. We'll see.
I was talking to Robert this morning about if this situation goes down to Atlanta, which we all hope it does, and the 88-28 have a chance to win the championship, he said, I'm not going.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying is you've based all this conversation on because you've got the inside scoop.
Yeah.
I've got to do my homework.
Attaboy,
He knew the
BP.
answer.
Yeah, well.
No, I walked up to talk to Robert, and I looked over BP, and he went, no, come back later.
I don't think BP asked him that question, so I'll give him that much.
But I did ask him what would happen if it boiled down to Atlanta in these two cars, and he said, I'm not going, and I'm turning off my cell phone.
Flat, 30-25 on the 24.
All right, that means they're driving. What he's telling him, you two guys are much faster than the 24. It's you and the 28, talking about Dale Jarrett.
Fourth place, Steve Park in the 1, Tony Stewart in the 20. Stewart, remember, had that encounter with Ricky Craven in the opening laps that doesn't seem to have affected his car in any kind of a negative way.
Now, Tony's car is very, very good. Just past the center and off. He's lower than anybody. That's good.
And Park just desperately needs a good finish here this weekend. About the last 5 weeks have been brutal.
That one
on Park.
car got sideways, and 20 car is going to take advantage of it.
Had to check up a little bit to catch the back, and when he did, Tony Stewart just dove on the inside. Jimmy Spencer dove on the inside. And if Andretti can get there, he'll dive on the inside. Couldn't quite make it.
Stewart to 5th, Spencer to 6th, Park back to 7th. Andretti chasing him. Best run we've seen John Andretti have in a little while. It's been a dismal season for John. Another look at Tony Stewart and Steve Park.
Yeah, you got so like I said, the 20 cars down below. I mean, Park just lost it getting off, and Tony was there to take advantage of it.
Nice catch by
Good
Steve.
catch.
So he gets the Glove Save and a Beauty Award so far. And here's Jimmy Spencer pressing Stewart for 4th. Now, you guys don't know anything about hockey, so the Glove Save and a Beauty Award doesn't mean anything to you. Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, they are the top 3 in the New England 300. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. No change atop the leaderboard in the New England 300. Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon are still the top 3. And as Jarrett comes off of turn 4 this time, you'll see cross flags, the signal from the starter stand. We are halfway home in today's race. Our Pepsi race recap to show you what's happened in the first portion of the New England 300. Joe Nemechek and Elliott Sadler taken out in an early crash. This one just 5 laps into the race in turn 1. Big mess there. Rusty Wallace exited the race early. Engine failure for the 4th place man in the championship, just 13 laps in. 3 cars with similar problems. Right front tires going down and crashes in turn 1. That's Johnny Benson. A little while later, Jeremy Mayfield, same thing. And then the most recent caution, ditto for Dave Blaney. Hot day here in New England, and the excessive track temperature combined with brake heat that's normally a problem on this track anyway, causing some drivers to lose their right fronts in the corner. You see only 3 lead changes. Jeff Gordon led the first 126 laps, all but one of them. Sterling Marlin led for a lap under an exchange of pit stops. And then Dale Jarrett won the race off pit road on the most recent set of stops, and he is now pacing this field.
And he's starting to put some distance on Ricky Rudd, but as he puts distance on Rudd, Jeff Gordon is starting to close in a little bit on Dale Jarrett.
Rudd looked like he had a better car than Jarrett in maybe the first 20 laps of this green flag segment, but now Jarrett looks like he's moving back away. Marty, how about Ricky Rudd?
Yeah, I remember earlier we said Ricky Rudd was a little razzled at the beginning of the race with that radio problem. I'll say he's calmed down now. He really wants to get up to the lead, and he just radioed to his crew and joked. He said, it's like DJ doesn't want to share that bloomin' onion. I believe that's a reference to a commercial that somebody's famous voice is in. Anybody know who that is?
I'll never tell.
But it might cycle down through 228. I think they said earlier they were better on very long runs. So we might see the 28 be a little bit better than both these guys when it gets down to.
Oh, we got Ward Burton going around.
Turn 2.
Keep it up there, keep it up there, keep it high. No caution's out, guys, caution's out. 29 got into the rear of it.
Excess fuel in the exhaust pipes, trying to get the car refired. Too late.
And he's too late.
Lost a lap.
There we see the 29 car, Kevin Harvick, and we heard the spotter say the 29 got in the back of the 22, just touched him a little bit. Ward never could catch it. Around he goes. But luckily he did not hit anything, and no one hit him. But he did lose a lap. And that's the worst news he could have.
Take a look at it from Kevin Harvick's onboard camera.
Understand that one.
Any law enforcement officer would cite you for an accident from behind. You would be at fault. Harvick on pit road along with all the other leaders. Stops at lap 155. Matt?
Kevin Harvick's car is already in. They are going around to the left side. This will be a 4-tire stop for Kevin Harvick. He came on the radio and said he did not need to do it. He just all of a sudden stopped right in front of him as Harvick is down and away to Bill Weber.
Jeff Burton's on pit road. It's been an adventure all day. That time it was a chassis adjustment and 4 tires. An old drag race. Michael Waltrip off of pit road, but they had an alternator problem earlier. Jeff brushed the wall, may have bent a wheel, had a vibration. That was just before the previous caution. He is working harder than anybody and really doesn't have a lot to show for it yet.
Okay, BP, chastise me.
All the leaders did not pit. Some of the leaders pitted, but all the leaders did not pit.
Top 5 stayed on the racetrack. We'll come back to New Hampshire next. Getting ready for the restart in the New England 300. It's NASCAR on TNT. Dale Jarrett and the other of the top 14 runners all staying on track under this caution. Drivers in the back half of the lead lap group choosing to make pit stops. Jarrett, Rudd, and Gordon, top 3 in the championship race, or the top 3 in this race. You've got Tony Stewart 4th, Jimmy Spencer 5th, followed by John Andretti, Steve Park, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, and Ken Schrader.
Go, go.
Slipping in between the top 2.
Robbie Gordon's going to try as hard as he can to get that lap back.
Robbie in 29th position, the first one a lap down, subbing for Mike Skinner. In Richard Childress's car.
Oh, somehow Tony squeezed between those 2 cars, the cars of Jimmy Spencer and Ward Burton.
Stewart in 4th, Spencer in 5th. Ward Burton is a lap down. After the spin a minute ago, he's in 31st position.
Flat tires today. 3 right front tires go flat. But I tell you, Goodyear must have one heck of a tire because the top 15 cars stayed on the racetrack, did not pit. And these guys trying to go for championships, if there's any question, you know they'd come in and get fresh tires, but they all chose to stay on the racetrack for that track position.
Let's get some updates from pit road, starting with Bill Weber.
And let's start with the leader, Dale Jarrett. Made a chassis adjustment last time they pitted. Of course, they didn't come in under this most recent caution, was just a little bit loose. They used wedge to tighten him up. Dale Sherritt is running extremely well. I talked to his crew chief, Todd Parrott, this morning in the garage. He said we were good, but probably not as good as maybe the 28, or a lot of people thought the 10. But if you talked around the garage, a lot of people were watching for the 88, and he's exactly where they thought he'd be.
Got a spin on the backstretch. It's Ron Hornaday in trouble into the infield grass inside turn 3. Caution's out.
Looks like all the tires are up.
Hornaday was running 18th on the lead lap.
A lot of damage to the left front tire.
Now the back. Campbell coming in pit.
It's on the road course part of the track that's inside the oval.
I got 4 tires of fuel, fix whatever damage we got to fix.
For the motorcycles and the sports cars and go-karts run here at New Hampshire. What happened to Ron Hornaday?
Oh, I see. He brushes the wall on the backstretch. He climbs the wall.
Whoa!
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Stacy Compton, the other car involved.
I didn't think you could do that.
Man, oh, look at Mike Wallace just barely miss him as he goes across. I didn't even realize he had damage to the right side.
He was close to getting over on his head.
Man,
upside down.
He just got squeezed up on that wall, and it just caught just enough for him to drive up the side of that wall. Joey Chitwood style right there. Everybody did a good job, too, to get through that.
And that is Mike Wallace in the 7 car. Yeah, that is unbelievable.
We have an onboard camera with Ron Hornaday. This ought to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about 18 degrees banked in on the racetrack. There he goes by the 45 car, Kyle Petty. Now listen to this and watch. He never backed off. He was climbing the wall still.
Okay, guys, the caution's going to be out. 92 wrote us up in fence.
Nice play-by-play by the spotter. Wow. Ooh, Jeff Burton's look. Hornaday on pit road getting some repairs made to A.J. Foyt's Pontiac. We're back to New Hampshire after this. Still under caution here at New Hampshire International Speedway. The evidence is in. Watch the skid marks. Up, up, and away.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
It's not that ugly. I mean, I've seen you do that on the way back to the hotel, the rail car.
Oh, no. Watch this. The green car on the outside. Hornaday up on that one. He doesn't back off. He just keeps nailing that thing and climbs the wall. Finally, he has no choice but back off.
Back to the restart in just a minute at New Hampshire. Getting the 1 to go signal. Restart a lap away in the New England 300 as NASCAR on TNT begins the second half of the season here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Well, Jeff Burton has been kind of fighting his car throughout the day. We've had a microphone on his crew chief, Frankie Stoddard. Here's their most recent conversation under this caution.
Jeff, I'm sure you're sitting there thinking a little bit. I hope you are. I don't really have a whole lot of ideas on what more to do. We're up enough now. We could probably stand to come off the right front, you know, a little bit later on here, a pound.
Well, obviously they're concerned, and that they obviously Frankie went up on that right front tire. Hopefully keep the air in it, keep it from blowing. So, you know, these guys are watching that close.
There's Frankie, New Hampshire native. Takes great pride in the fact that he and his driver, Jeff Burton, have won here 4 times at his home track. He's got a lot of family, a lot of friends here looking on. It's not going the way he was hoping for today. Jeff Burton back in 17th position. The great racing tradition. Everybody up for the green flag. Restart.
Well, he changed some tires on this last caution flag. He wants to get up there and see if he can race with these guys, and I don't think he can because he's getting awfully loose off turn 4. Jeff Gordon's going to dive to the inside and put him back behind him. So now He's got to pass 3 of the fastest cars on the Speedway. Doesn't look like he can do it today.
And NASCAR just asking the inspector in charge of Robbie Gordon's pit to go have a discussion with the crew chief and ask him what that was all about. Gordon racing Kevin LePage for 29th position. LePage in the 4 car. They're both a lap down. Tony Stewart trapped behind those two. Tony in the 20 car, the orange machine, is the 4th place runner. Then the lap car of Ward Burton. Then Jimmy Spencer and John Andretti in 5th and 6th. Ron Hornaday has just taken his car to the garage. Repairs obviously needed after that wild ride we saw a minute ago. Jeremy Mayfield has just come back from the garage after the crash damage from his accident earlier.
Ever see Jeremy on the apron of the Speedway?
Mayfield with the right front down on his car into the wall at lap 91. There's Jeremy trying to check it all out, get it back up to speed. Left front tire looked a little low, didn't it?
Real low right there. It's unbelievable how low they run the air pressure in the left side tires, especially the left front.
All right, here we go again. Remember in this last run after the restart, when Dale Jarrett took the lead on the pit stops off of Jeff Gordon, in the early laps of the run, Ricky Rudd was close to Dale Jarrett. The farther they ran, the farther away from Rudd Jarrett got. Rudd needs those 5 bonus points for the championship. How hard is he going to press the issue now?
I'm the 28. I'm going to press him pretty hard. Right, yeah, I think he's going to try as hard as he can. I think if he gets up there and really starts touching the back bumper and Jarrett can look up and see him right behind him and he makes a move to the inside, Jarrett might let him go by. But we see right now, Jarrett that time got off turn 2 and put about a 2 or 3 car length advantage on the 28 car.
On the other side of the coin, there are 5 bonus points at stake for the driver who leads the most laps. Jeff Gordon has led 126. Dale Jarrett has only led 40, now 8 laps. So he needs to stay out in front as long as he can. As we look at the Williams race chase, Marty can add more for us on Ricky Rudd.
Well, and guys, remember earlier we said Ricky is better on the longer runs. The reason that he fell back from his teammate when that last run started is because he's not very good when the run starts. But again, very good on the longer runs. And as we mentioned, they think that they're better than their teammate Dale Jarrett on the longer runs. Their strategy right now is to wear him down. They think they eventually will pass him.
But right now, the 28, those last couple laps here looks like he's lower than the 88. And that's a good thing.
Over the last 2 months, no one has scored more championship points than Ricky Rudd. In fact, he's far outpointed Dale Jarrett and put a good distance on Jeff Gordon. That's over the last 2 months, 9 races.
I'll tell you, these 2 cars are very, very equal today. I mean, Ricky Rudd may be faster, but it's only marginal. And at this racetrack right now with the groove right on the bottom of the Speedway,
30 flat, 12 behind you.
It's going to be very difficult to get by Dale Jarrett unless he does move over and let him go.
Had a little mixing it up going on just a moment ago. Let's take a look at this down in turn 1. Matt Kenseth into Sterling Marlin.
Matt almost had all 4 tires underneath that yellow line trying to get under Sterling. Sterling had no idea that was coming.
No, not almost. He had all 4 tires under there.
Sterling was in the right place. That was pretty bold.
These cars back battling for the 20th position.
And the battle scars on the side of Sterling Marlin's Dodge.
And I'll guarantee you Sterling's not smiling right now inside that car. Probably wasn't too impressed with that move.
There's Johnny Benson. A number of laps down after time in the garage area when he lost the right front and hit the turn 1 wall. Benson 37th spot. And he's 52 laps down. Michael Waltrip just behind Benson. Mike He's running in 25th. He's actually racing Sterling Marlin for that position, for the 24th spot. And we look from these drivers over to the leader. Dale Jarrett is about a half a lap from that race. So in just those few laps since the restart, he's gotten away. Jarrett, Rudd, Gordon, still the top three in the New England 300 at the New Hampshire International Speedway.
The New England 300 on TNT, brought to you by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh-made sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh. By Napa Auto Parts, we keep America running. By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by the motor oil that provides the most protection. Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
The New Hampshire International Speedway jammed full. Some 110,000 watching Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd, the Robert Gates Racing teammates, lead the way in the New England 300. They're both out in front of Jeff Gordon, the third place runner, by 2.2 seconds. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running back in 19th position. He's just picked up a couple spots in the last few laps, and he had to use the horn to get through.
Yeah, years behind Robert Presley. He goes in a little bit of a bump there and turns under him, and kind of looked like he's dead there off turn 2 a moment ago. Junior made a pit stop the last time a couple of times, raised the hood, put some water in the car. I guess he's running a little bit warm, trying to cool it off, but sure doesn't seem to be hurting the performance of the car.
Ron Hornaday has taken his car to the garage after that wild ride up the backstretch wall. Literally, we saw a little earlier. Let's hear from him with Dave.
And Alan, Ron just said to me, had to be a cool ride, but that's not the way you want today to go, was it?
No, this Conseco Pontiac's been good, and we finally got the car to work out there. The rubber's getting pretty bad on the bottom. I'm gonna go up top and try to make it work, and we got a couple guys, and I just didn't know. I know it was getting slippery up there. I just don't know if Stacy's seen me out there or not, but unbelievable how this car climbed the wall. I just don't know if the walls leaned out or whatever, but I'm proud of these guys. Qualify that well. The car was running good. We had to free it up a little bit more, but this Conseco Pontiac, they're turning this thing around, and I hate to see this because we had a good race car, and we definitely need a good run, but at least we're getting good race cars the last couple of weeks, and we're having fun. David Evans giving us a good load, and all the guys back in the shop are working hard, so we'll go out there and get some more laps. Hopefully it don't get slick too much, but we'll get that thing working on the outside and make sure who we're racing against.
And we can confirm for Ron that Stacy did not see him out there. His pit came over, and they said they called clear 14, and Stacy thought they said clear outside. But actually, they thought they said outside clear, and he said outside 14. You know what I meant.
No, that probably is why he was confused. Ricky Rudd still dogging Dale Jarrett, not able to get by. Rudd still has not led a lap today. Jarrett and Jeff Gordon have. This is a pretty hot race for position. 8th, 9th, 10th. Bobby Labonte, Todd Bodine, and Jerry Nadeau, respectively.
And those two cars behind them, Kevin LePage, the 4, Ward Burton in the 22. They're racing for the 29th position.
Tell you what, for a guy who was really looking down this morning and had no idea what to do to his car for today's race, Todd Bodine's had a very solid run. He's in 8th place. But I mean, he said to me, I said, so how's your car? He said, not very good. And I said, so what are you going to do for it? He said, I have no idea. We'll probably change everything.
Well, right now, he's better than 35 of the other cars.
I ran back into Todd about an hour later this morning. He was pacing the garage. I said, what's the matter? He said, nervous energy. I hope we did the right things. I hope we did the right things. It's not bad.
I was just going to say that, and that's the unexpected. You have no idea what your car is going to do the first time you go out. You've changed springs and bars and shocks, just trying to make it better. So that anticipation of what is this thing going to do? And they obviously made the right moves. And boy, it's a lot of fun when you can do that. You can change that much stuff on the car and have a result like that.
Todd threw a good old New England clam bake for his team here Saturday after final practice. Lobsters, steamers, the whole thing. Dale Jarrett leads the New England 300. We've got pit stops coming up for the leaders shortly. Could be crucial final pit stops. We're back to cover them in a minute. Our checkup on the Coca-Cola Racing family and the old family reunion's been a pretty good time today. Drivers' positions in the race right now: first, second, fourth, sixth, and seventh. Not bad. 9th, Bobby Labonte. 11th, Bill Elliott. The worst of them's in 25th. It's pretty good. Kyle Petty, 19th spot. We saw Kyle slow on the racetrack a little earlier. Looked like he'd got up out of the groove, got all that marble-ish rubber on his tires, got back down in it, cleaned it off, and kept on charging. He's back up to 19th. Dave, how about more on Kyle Petty's day?
Alan, I just checked with his crew chief, Chris Hussey, and I asked him if that damage was hurting him at all on the track, and he said, no, just a little bit. So really, Kyle's battling the same thing everyone else is, a little bit tight in the corners, but otherwise, he's running okay.
Of course, Kyle Petty making his first race here in New Hampshire since his son Adam was killed here a year ago, May. I just cannot even begin to imagine the emotions the man went through coming into the gates here Thursday night, Friday, and competing on the racetrack. Can't even begin to fathom. Here this weekend because he felt like this is what Adam would want him to do. And probably this is the best time he's had all weekend. In the race car, 100% concentration on what it is he's here to accomplish.
Kyle, Mike Wallace, 11 car Brett Bodine, all those cars are racing for position. That's 19th, 20th, and 21st.
As we move back to the leaders, pit stops are going to start to happen here pretty shortly for Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd and Jeff Gordon.
You know, I'm just shocked that the rubber has not come off. We haven't had more buildup. We talked about this track surface, but it doesn't seem to hurt the progress of these cars one bit. They're actually running faster now than they have all race long.
2/3 of the way through the race. Let's take you through the field. Dale Jarrett, your leaders, led 75 laps today. He got the lead on a set of caution flag pit stops at lap 127 from Jeff Gordon, who had led the race up to that point. Ricky Rudd, 18 points behind Jarrett and Gordon in the championship coming in, started 14th. Very solidly in second place. Jeff Gordon led 126 of the first 127 laps of this race. The only one he didn't lead was when he made a pit stop at lap 61, and Sterling Marlin stayed on the racetrack for a lap. That was until Jarrett took the lead away from him on the set of pit stops.
The 90 car in front of him is 2 laps down. Talking about Hut Strickland. There's Tony Stewart, the 4th place car. About 4 3/4 seconds behind the leader, Dale Jarrett.
Started 25th, up to 4th. Got a new 5th place runner. John Andretti and Jimmy Spencer have just changed hands. As we look back from Stewart, there's the interval to Andretti and Richard Petty's Dodge.
Good run for Andretti. We see he started 17th.
So needed. They've had such a tough season with that team. Jimmy Spencer had the top 5 finish at Chicagoland last Sunday. Little momentum for Travis Carter's team. Spencer's up to 6th. We've got Steve Park in 7th. Park qualified in 5th. Solid day, not spectacular for Park. He hasn't really gotten up there and raced for the lead at all today. Todd Bodine, we talked about Todd a few minutes ago. He's in 8th. Todd's frets over his car this morning and making the right calls. He and crew chief Larry Carter, obviously, to put the chassis setup under the car that the track conditions were looking for. Behind Todd, you've got Bobby Labonte, kind of quietly up in the 9th spot. Bobby started in 35th. Just picked them off one at a time.
Behind Bob Labonte is Jerry Nadeau, 25 car, who started way back. He's worked his way up to the 10th position.
38th spot is where Nadeau started. His team took 2 tires on one of their pit stops to get track position. Bill Elliott up to 11th. About where he's been all day. Started in 12th place, hasn't moved forward, hasn't dropped back.
And Bill Elliott, I think the car is a little closer this week than it has been all season long. They had a pretty competitive race car today.
Mark Martin started on the front row. In 2nd place, he's back to 12th. Then Casey Atwood, the other Ray Evernham Dodge, started 27th. Casey up to 13th place. Casey with previous experience on this track in the NASCAR Busch Series. This may be somewhat of an advantage for the rookie driver this year, a place he's very familiar with. There's Ken Schrader. His team took the 2 tires on a pit stop a while back that got him up to 5th position. He's dropped back to 14th. Behind Schrader, you've got Kevin Harvick, fresh off his 3 a.m. arrival from his Busch Series win last night in St. Louis. We saw Kevin up a little farther in the race, then he dropped back a little bit, sort of settled into the middle here. 15th. Ricky Craven, the New England native, is next in line. Craven in 16th place on the lead lap. There he is in the Tide Ride. Craven getting a contract extension from team owner Cal Wells, announced here this week. Craven to be back behind the wheel of this car in 2002. And what a story Ricky Craven is. Out of the sport for basically 2 years. Couldn't get anybody to hire him. They thought he was damaged goods after a crash at Texas in '98. Cal Wells hired him, and it's paid off nicely for them.
There's a 99 car. Jeff Burton currently in the 17th position, racing with Dale Earnhardt Jr. The 8 car right behind. Looks like Jr. might be a little quicker right now.
Jr. in 18th place. The 19th place car is Mike Wallace. And there's a soap opera for you.
What is it? As sand passes through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. What a soap opera this has been for Mike and this entire team. He's in the car, out of the car, back in the car, out of the car. Now he's back in it again. And the owner, Jimmy Smith, insists he will be in this 7 car for the remainder of the year.
Lead lap for Mike in 19th place. The racing soap opera we call As the Wheel Turns. You like that?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, okay. You didn't like it. You're just trying to humor me. It's Brett Bodine in 20th place. Also on the lead lap. Here come the first of the pit stops. John Andretti gives up 5th place. Marty?
Alan, first of the leaders. Actually, Greg Stedman, the crew chief, just radioed to John. He said, how does the fuel pressure look? He said it looks a little low. He said, well, come this time, the car is a little bit tight. They will make a 4-tire stop. They made an air pressure adjustment in an attempt to loosen him up, but the car is very good for John, and they're very consistent today. They've been in the 5th spot for a long time, and I'm not sure they got all the lug nuts on the left front tight, as you saw the guy fall down as they left pit road.
Wow, 13.6.
Great stop if they got all those lug nuts tight. If not, he's going to be coming back in. Ron Hornaday rejoins the race after the time behind the wall for repairs from his wild ride down the backstretch. When will the leaders stop? Jarrett and Rudd. Let's go back and take a look at that last pit stop a minute ago for John Andretti. Watch the left front.
He's tightening those lug nuts. He's chasing with that air wrench. But man, that car's going faster than he could on his knees.
And he's laughing the whole time.
Dave?
Ken Schrader is in, and those left side tires have about 160 laps on them. He finally gets a 4-tire stop. They make a chassis adjustment, and Ken Schrader leaves pit road. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Dave, Tony Stewart eases into his pit box. He was complaining about his car was very good on long runs, but still a touch tight in the center of the corner. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the left side tires. They're going to work on the left side tires. But he said his car was still very good as Jeff Patterson, the gas man, pulls the can away, and Tony's down and away.
Lead change on the racetrack. Ricky Rudd gets by Dale Jarrett in traffic, as you saw. Now the 3rd place car is in. Here's Jeff Gordon in front of Bill Weber.
4 tires and a race car bar, 1 round.
And that's Robbie Loomis talking to his driver. He's going to have to watch out for the 9 of Elliott. His car is
tight, so they'll give him 4 tires and make the track bar adjustment. Gordon has been fighting a tight handling condition since he went out on the track after his last stop. He isn't able to get the turns in the corners of the racetrack. Also, watch for this car to get better the longer he goes. That's been a key to their success here in earlier runs. Marty.
And Ricky Rudd comes in. He's actually leading his teammate Dale Jarrett down pit road. The car actually a little bit tighter on that last run. They were going to make an air pressure adjustment. That was the planned adjustment coming in. They haven't made an adjustment all day long, and this will be a 4-tire stop for Ricky Rudd. Mike McSwain, the crew chief, said packet fuel. And the Jackman falls down as he comes around. That will cost Ricky Rudd. Let's go to Bill Weber, who's in Dale Jarrett's pits.
Well, just an outstanding 4-tire stop and fuel. The 88 leads for 28. His teammate right behind him. Dale Jarrett hasn't said a word that I've heard in about 90 laps. Amazing concentration and a great car, Matt.
Steve Park is already in his pit stall. They will make a chassis adjustment as Chad Walter cranks on the wedge wrench. This will be a 4-tire stop. A slight brake fire on the left rear as Mikey Atwell pulls the tire away and Park is down and away.
So we could have just seen a huge turning point in this race when Ricky Rudd's Jackman fell down coming around the car. It allowed Dale Jarrett to reclaim the lead on the pit stops. Both Jarrett and Rudd got out ahead of Jeff Gordon to keep him behind them in third.
And that was maybe a second or a second and a half mistake. And that's probably what it is on the racetrack.
Right now, Casey Atwood is the leader. Let's go take another look at that Ricky Rudd pit stop.
There we see the Jackman bend the car down. That's John Bryan comes around, and right there, see, it's wet on pit road. He slipped, and that just killed the pit stop. A couple of seconds, and that's how far he's behind Dale Jarrett on the Speedway.
Wow. You can see he's mad at himself. He's mad at himself. That's too bad. That's what these guys live for right there, though.
That's right. They live for that moment when they can make a difference.
Not the difference you wanted to make, but...
So Rudd is out behind Jarrett. Again, Casey Atwood is the leader because he's not yet come onto pit road. It's the first laps Casey's ever led in a NASCAR Winston Cup race. You've got Kevin Harvick second, Ricky Craven third, Jeff Burton fourth, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in fifth. Also got Rick Mast, Robert Presley, Brett Bodine, Matt Kenseth, Sterling Marlin, and Bobby Hamilton, who have not yet made pit stops. Laps to go in the New England 300. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Casey Atwood leads the New England 300 NASCAR on TNT from the New Hampshire International Speedway. Upcoming next weekend, it's off the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania for Bud Pole qualifying on CNN Sports Illustrated Friday. Final practice and the ARCA Pepsi 200 from Pocono on Saturday, both on TNT. The NASCAR Busch Series is at Pikes Peak Raceway in Colorado Springs. You'll see that one on NBC next Saturday afternoon. And then next Sunday, it's the Pennsylvania 500, 12:30 Eastern Time. Our pre-race coverage begins here on TNT. Got some leaders out of sequence with Jarrett and Rudd and Gordon, and thought we might see a caution flag a minute ago, but it has not happened. Watch this. Ricky Craven off of turn number 2 ran into some problems. We look ahead from Jeff Burton's car.
And Ricky's just getting off the corner here. Watch the smoke. Boom. Blew a motor. Jeff Burton did a real good job not falling inside that car with him.
The 32 broke and he put oil.
That was Jeff Burton telling his pit crew that the 32 car, Ricky Craven, broke and put oil on the Speedway.
Which I would say if I hadn't pitted yet.
Yes.
And Burton is running in third and has not yet pitted. Marty, how about an update?
Well, they were scurrying down here in the Tide pits, Alan, and they now think it is indeed an expired engine. It actually had fuel in it, but it had no fuel pressure, so they thought it was a fuel pump. And again, this is a Robert Gates engine. They thought it was a fuel pump, but then they thought it might be a camshaft, and evidently it is a camshaft problem. They will go behind the wall and be done for the day.
Casey Atwood stopped at lap 155. Jarrett and Rudd on their previous stops had stopped at 127. So it's going to be about lap 245 before Atwood needs to come in and make a pit stop. Meantime, Rudd by Jarrett.
That could be the pass for the race, because all these other cars are going to have to pit unless, trust me, the 28, 88, 24, you've seen them on pit road for the last time unless something happens to their cars.
And look who's closing in, Gordon and Spencer. Now that pass was actually for 10th position right now. But you got all these cars who, along with Casey Atwood, are on a different pit stop schedule. And I can't see any way this is going to play to their advantage at all, Atwood and the rest of them. Gordon and Jarrett and Rudd have got fuel on board to go to the finish. If a caution comes out, they don't have to stop. Atwood and the rest do. I just can't see any way that circumstances would play to their advantage.
Hello.
Look at this. Jarrett sounded like he had to really feather the gas off the corner. Championship race. Gordon and Jarrett having led most of this race. Jarrett's car looking like it's going sour at the worst possible moment for him.
It certainly isn't as good now as it was before the pit stop. Oh, and Gordon is there trying to look on the inside.
And here comes Spencer, going to join the hunt. Come on, gang, let me play.
Just take him 3 wide, Jimmy. Ah, come on.
Caution. Caution is coming out onto the racetrack. We have a car spun around in turn 4. It's Kevin LePage.
Oh, yikes. The leader just, and the 26 car of Spencer has been able to get by Jarrett before they got back to the line.
But remember, those aren't the leaders, so it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I was thinking you were talking about LePage. Got distracted.
What's going on here?
And what?
Bill Elliott? Into some oil, maybe?
Maybe there's some oil or something down there.
Kevin Harvick is the leader. While we were watching Rudd and Jarrett, Casey Atwood made his pit stop under the green flag. So Harvick is actually the leader. And mass mayhem is broken out here in New Hampshire. We got a race for 10th over here that's going to be a race for the lead, but the leader's already pitted, and now somebody else is in the lead. Okay. Pit road's open.
Now the 43's coming back down.
Well, he's probably got nothing to lose by taking fresh tires. He wasn't going to have a shot at winning from where he was. Marty?
Alan, that's pretty much the thought. They're going to take 4 tires and make an air pressure adjustment here. That was the thought. They don't really have much to lose here by taking 4 tires. And those other guys are going to be on old tires, so kind of why not? Let's go to Dave Burns.
Marty, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was trying to figure out what he wanted done to the car because of all the stuff on the track and the sealer problem. He really couldn't tell him until the last minute, so if they made any adjustments at all, it was just a slight air pressure adjustment. His water temperatures are fine. Matt?
Kevin Harvick last pitted on lap 155. He's down and away. This stop, he took on only 4 tires. No adjustments for Kevin Harvick to Bill Weber.
4 tires, a pound in the rear for Jeff Burton. He had to watch incredible traffic coming down pit road, but was able to get into his stall without contact.
Little log jam there at the stop and go paddle.
You know, I had to avoid the wreck. Hey, it's okay, man. You're fine, okay?
There's Mark Martin in. Now we're hearing conflicting information. Now, all of those cars that just came down pit road, NASCAR is saying came in before pit road was open.
Oh, my goodness.
All of them.
Oh, my goodness.
Penalty for that is you start at the tail end of the longest line.
How do you do that?
When you got 15 of them. Yeah.
Now the pit road is open now.
And if you're not familiar with it, the rule is the pace car has to lead the field past the opening of pit road to open it. Pit road, the gate, it's almost like when the caution comes out, there's a gate closed across the front of pit road until the pace car leads the field past it. So these cars are legal.
Right. They don't have to pay the fine.
I can't believe that the pace car had not passed pit road a moment ago. I can't hardly believe that.
But if the flag is up, pace car, no pace car, I mean, if that flag is up and there's a cross on it, you cannot come down pit lane.
So, I mean, the flag is the determining factor.
Right.
Not whether the pace car goes by.
Right.
There's something going on with John Andretti also. He's going to be held for 1 lap. And I need to check out what that is with John Andretti. He's they're calling John back to pit road to hold him for 1 lap. Also, Bobby Hamilton, Michael Waltrip, Ward Burton, Robbie Gordon, excuse me, and Jerry Nadeau are the cars that are going to have to go to the end of the longest line for pitting before pit road was open. All right, let's take a break here. We'll figure out what's going on with John Andretti and come back for the finish of the New England 300. Back at the New England 300. NASCAR on TNT from New Hampshire International Speedway, where John Andretti's team is not very happy right now. They have been held 1 lap by NASCAR for running the stop-and-go paddle at the end of pit road. Now, by way of explanation, there is a mark on the outside wall on the front straightaway. When the pace car gets to that mark, the official at the head end of pit road has basically a paddle. On one side of it says stop, the other side says go. When the pace car leads the field to that mark, he turns the paddle to stop. Marty, go ahead. You can pick this story up and run from there.
Well, let's see if we can solve this dilemma. Let's talk to Greg Stedman real quick and try and find out what's going on. These guys have had a great run all day long. Greg, can you figure out what happened?
No, we had to come in for fuel there. We weren't going to make it to the end. And evidently they hadn't opened pit road. We were on pit road. We beat the pace car out, but they said we didn't beat the paddle, so they're going to hold us a lap right now.
And that was a lap penalty. Obviously very upset, having many conversations with NASCAR officials trying to get a correct explanation, but they did serve the penalty. 1 lap for John Andretti, who had a great run going today.
When the caution comes out, the stop-and-go paddle goes into effect. When they put the stop paddle up, they hold it there till the whole field has gone by, then they turn it to go. John ran the stop-and-go paddle.
Oh, Jeff Gordon got a tough break. Is that Spencer on the inside of him? Yes, it is. Trying to take that second spot away as Gordon was hung up behind the 36. Spencer now tries to get on the outside of the 36.
And Schrader's trying to get out of the way, I think. Schrader's the first car a lap down in 21st.
And he gets on the inside of the 36 car. Now Gordon gets by.
Oh, Bobby Labonte spins in turn 1. Everybody scattering. No caution yet.
Oh, that's a genuine mess down there.
Caution, keep coming. No caution. It's clear. No caution. Keep digging.
Labonte was 7th last lap by. Did a flying 360, kept going. This is 2nd place. Gordon putting pressure on Spencer. Here he comes.
Still there. Still there. Corner. Corner. Still there. Still there. Still there.
Richard Bostic.
Richard Bostic talking to
daughter of Jimmy Spencer.
And Spencer about to lose another spot to Jared. Casey Atwood, the 19 car. Oh, and he just dives down, tries to get the inside to block Tony Stewart in the 20 car. Talking about the 26 of Spencer. The 19 car, he made that pit stop on the green. He now is 1 lap down in 21st position. Talking about Casey Atwood.
And all this jockeying around for 2nd has allowed Rudd to get away. Let's go back and take a look at what happened up in turn 1 a minute ago.
Man, he just nails the gas. I guess that's Bobby Labonte in the middle of all that smoke. He nails it to do a 360 and just renders the racetrack blind.
Oh, this ought to be fun looking.
Still there.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Now, come on down. Come on down. Clear, clear. Coming.
Dale Jarrett coming back. Just got a spot from Jimmy Spencer. Jarrett to third, Spencer fourth, Stewart fifth in the 20 car, the orange machine. Casey Atwood in the 19 is a lap down.
55 laps to go.
That was Todd Parrott kind of telling his driver, look, if you got anything, now's the time to show it because this race is running out. Time is running out.
Michael Waltrip has been on and off pit road serving a penalty. Robert Presley's got troubles.
Got a left front tire down.
Coming inside. Low. All right.
Which is probably maybe from contact earlier with somebody. That's usually what happens when the left front blows. Now it's really going to start tearing stuff up when it starts coming apart.
It's too bad that Robert could not have made the entrance to pit road and gotten down and changed the left front tire because it's going to tear some stuff up before he gets back.
He was on the lead lap in the top 20. It's making a mess out of that race.
To the bottom, you're clear to the bottom. Gas, no gas. Oh, no gas, pick up the car, no gas. Bruce, get back, no gas, pick up the car.
That's Ryan Pemberton.
Get on in there.
Then you got to pick the car because it's going to be very low with that flat tire, and don't put any gas in the car.
Caution's out. Debris from Robert Presley's car.
He needs to go right on to, oh, that may be a speeding penalty.
Doesn't matter. He had to beat the leader to the end of pit road. Remember the Pocono race in June when Rusty Wallace got caught a lap down? Robert had to go and beat the leader to that mark on the outside wall before that stop, that go paddle turned to stop.
At least the tire isn't rolling now, so it's not tearing anything up. Unfortunately, I don't know if they'll be able to get the tire off because the tire itself is kind of wrapped around
Left side tires only. Do not speed, 4,800.
All right, pit road's going to be open this time. The pace car is in front of the field. As Robert comes in, they're going to have to hurry to beat that stop-and-go paddle.
It wasn't open for Robert.
Yeah, but it is for the leaders.
It will be for the leaders, any of them that choose to pit.
Oh, it's going to be close.
And if he's smart, he'll speed down pit road again just to make sure that he beats the pace car to that mark. See, look on the left side wall. It's a little bit flush to pick it up. There's a mark on the outside wall. When the pace car gets to that, see the paddle? He just turned it over, the man on the right there. If you're on pit road, now you have to wait for the whole field to go by. 51 to go here at New Hampshire. Continuing to clean up the New Hampshire International Speedway after Robert Presley cut down a tire and shed debris around the racetrack. That's Presley in the yellow car leaving pit road, and the cleanup trucks continuing to pick up the little bits that he dropped all the way around this mile oval. Now, we were talking about that line right there. That is the line at which, when the pace car gets to that point, the go paddle becomes the stop paddle. And there's the official who's in charge. His job, when the pace car gets to that point, is to turn that paddle to stop. And if you're coming down pit road, you have to stop and wait there until the entire field goes by. Whenever the caution comes out, especially when leaders are on different pit stop schedules from each other, it causes confusion even for the crew chiefs. Let's listen to Frank Stoddard.
Keep digging. Come back to the caution. Come back to no caution, Jeff. No caution.
That's Brian Dehart, the NASCAR
Listen, when the caution came out, there was 5 cars that had everybody a lap down. Right. When we pitted, those cars in front of us should be tailing the lead lap, not the lead lap.
But I think there's Frankie is climbing back up on that box. But I think that the 28, the 24, and the 88, I think they were far enough ahead of the 19, the 29, those cars that were on the racetrack. They're able to get in there, change 4 tires, and still be on the lead lap. I don't think these cars ever were lapped.
No, I agree, Benny. I don't think they were ever lapped, and it was close. But if you're Frankie, you're going to argue that. Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing to argue.
Years ago, when scoring was done by hand, it was easy to argue, especially when the caution came out in the middle of a set of pit stops. So with the electronic transponders that each car is equipped with and the computerized scoring that's done in today's racing, it'd be pretty hard to mess things up. As long as you get the pace car out in front of the right lead car, it'd be pretty hard to mess it up.
This pickup better hurry, because he's going to be on the outside pole. Be as careful, because they're throwing the green flag.
Rudd is the leader. Casey Atwood in the red Dodge, the first car, a lap or more down to his inside. Atwood in 21st place.
See, Schrader cut Jeff Gordon a break that time and let him in between the 19 car and himself.
That was a good move by Jeff. Remember, last time he tried running the outside and Spencer snuck in there. So Jeff figures, hey, I'm going to get low and I'm going to get on this guy's tail, move him out of the way a little bit. Or maybe he'll give me a little slack.
This race has gotten kind of intense. Last 30, 45 minutes. All this stuff happening.
This thing is very intense right now, because that 20 car of Tony Stewart has spent the entire race trying to get up and race with these guys. But right now he's only a second and a quarter behind, so he's in position to see what he has.
Rudd leads, Gordon is second, Jarrett is third. There's Stewart in fourth. Jimmy Spencer, the white and blue car, still runs in fifth place. There's Spencer. Buckshot Jones racing up there among the leaders a minute ago, though a couple of laps down in 26th place. Watch this.
Does a good job to save the cars. Elliott goes on the inside. Spencer goes on the outside. Steve Park. That move over flag, we call that blue flag, was for Casey Atwood, the 19 car.
He's not paying attention to it either.
No.
I mean, you know, he's trying to get a lap back and they're waving that flag. It's like, oh, man, I'm trying to get my lap back.
And at this point, I think that Casey Atwood is doing the right thing, and because he does have a very fast car. This Dodge is very good today. Stay up there, the caution flag comes out, he may be able to get that lap back. But this gets about 15, 20 laps to go. Then is when he should move over, let Gordon and Jarrett and Tony Stewart see what they can do with Ricky Rudd.
Or if the 24 was really pressuring him right now, I think he would let those guys race. But right now he's holding his own pretty well.
See Gordon and Rudd and their real-time speeds imposed on the screen, and Jarrett, the third place runner.
These cars will probably just about mirror each other.
Bill Weber.
Just watching some of the leaders on the track, Alan. First, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon. He definitely hit a huge piece of debris off the 77 car. In fact, it was so big, Dale Jarrett got on his radio and said he saw Gordon hit it. He went by the front of his pit stall twice under caution. They looked at the tires, said everything looks okay, might have a little right front damage. His car is much better since they last pitted. Another guy that is getting stronger is Jarrett himself, and here's why. It takes his tires 15 to 20 green flag laps to come in. The caution after they put those tires on was perfectly timed. They didn't pit. It basically gave them a set of scuffed tires. I talked to crew chief Todd Parrott. He said this is an excellent opportunity for us. They believe they will get stronger as the laps wind down. We'll watch them chase the leaders.
Check out our telemetry.
40 to go. Get up on that wheelbase. 40 to go.
On board with Dale Jarrett. Todd Parrott been a cheerleader up on top of that wheel. Let's drive that baby on. Get under him right there. Get under him. No, can't quite make it.
Second and third. And while they're racing, Ricky Rudd's getting away.
Hud Strickland, the 90 car, has blown the engine. He has taken it to the garage area as we check out the fastest speed. It was Ricky Rudd. Kevin Harvick had the third fastest speed.
9/10 of a second in just these few laps after the restart that Rudd has put on Gordon and Jarrett. I'll tell you, this race for the championship 3 drivers coming into the event today, 2 tied for the point lead, 1 just 18 points back. And they've been the 3 dominant players all day.
All day long.
Most of the day.
Well, see, I told Bill Weber at the very start of the show in a pre-race, I talked to all these guys. There's one thing on their minds, trying to win the race.
Benny?
Yes?
Are you getting back on this again?
Yes. I mean, hey, Bill, is this living proof or what? All 3 of these cars have been up front all day long.
But, Benny, if one of those guys was to fall out, the first thing the driver would say was, man, we sure lost a lot of points today. He doesn't say we lost the race. He says we lost the points.
Yeah, that's once his race is over. I don't know. I may be with you on this one, BP. Get the most points by winning the race. We're down to 37 laps to go. It is Ricky Rudd leading Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett in the New England 300 at New Hampshire. Down to the final 33 laps in the New England 300 at New Hampshire International Speedway. Our storylines on the day, the race for the championship. It's been a great one. Gordon, Jarrett, and Rudd occupying the top 3 spots in the event. Kyle Petty's return to New Hampshire. Kyle is in 28th position. He's 1 lap down to the race leader. Temperatures. Been a steamy day for northern New England. How has that affected the race? How have they affected the track surface?
Only 1 car is overheated, and that was the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., so it looks like the temperature has not been an issue.
Except for the 3 cars that had the tire problems early that we suspected were from brake heat, right?
Yep, that's what we thought. Here's the track earlier before the race started. This is actually from the truck race and the Busch North race.
We can see that that's just small bits of rubber on the racetrack. And now,
see that area right there, guys? That's a lot of buildup. That's a lot of that rubber that's being stuck in that racetrack. That's difficult. Some of them are straddling it. Some of them are going high, low. But when you hit that, it's awfully slippery.
All up there, that's the rubber buildup as well. So the cars need to be under that or, as you said, straddling that.
But the sealer and the track surface themselves have been fine.
Yes.
It's just been that rubber that's been sticking to it all day, making things a little slippery for some of the drivers. Ricky Rudd, the race leader. There's the lap car of Casey Atwood, then Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett. And look who's coming to join the party, Tony Stewart. Let's go to Marty.
Well, you see Mike McSwain playing with some tape, affectionately known as Fatback. That's what he does when he's nervous. I don't know whether he's more nervous now or he was more nervous last night. Last night was the first ever NASCAR remote control race car challenge championship, if you will, won by none other than Mike Fatback McSwain. He raced against Ricky Rudd, Steve Park, Kurt Busch, and McSwain won the race. That's not the impressive part. The impressive part was that he came from 3 laps down and there's a crash on the racetrack.
Elliott Sadler turned around, and you saw Michael McSwain shake his head and say, darn, he did not want to see this caution. Boy, that's a hard impact for Elliott Sadler.
And at 19, of Casey Atwood got his lap back.
So second accident of the day for Elliott.
Tell you what, there's a lot of damage to that automobile.
Yes, sir. He was involved in a crash back at lap 5 with Joe Nemechek in turn 1.
Roof looks okay.
Yeah, the roof is okay.
Here's where the 19... That's a big boost right there for a 19th car.
Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to Elliott Sadler. This is from Ron Hornaday's car.
He just got loose. That's all there was to it.
Wow.
He hit hard, too.
Oh.
And again.
He hit the outside wall hard, came across, hit the inside wall hard.
28 laps to go. We'll come right back. Elliott Sadler involved in a hard crash here at New Hampshire International Speedway, somewhat gingerly getting out of his battered Ford.
You remember I was talking earlier about, see what as it's happening here. He just lost it, but you know, he's out there, he's 100 laps down, and he's out there running a car that's been wrecked once, and he's still running halfway fast. And you take a lick like that with less, I think, less protection because you got less metal around you to cushion that blow. It's just no fun. That's driver's side, too.
That's driver's side. That's right.
And it just goes to show you that when you're the team and your car's been in an accident, you're trying to make those repairs to get it back out and rejoin the race, you've got to make sure everything's buttoned up, because it can happen again.
Right.
The driver needs all that protection he can get. Cleanup continues, 25 laps to go. We'll come back to New Hampshire in a moment. Ricky Rudd leads the New England 300. Log on to NASCAR.com to play the AutoTrader.com Move of the Race sweepstakes for your chance to win a $25,000 shopping spree on AutoTrader.com and other great prizes. Let's get some updates from pit road. Marty?
Well, Alan, about 10 minutes ago, this was a full roll of tape. It's about halfway gone because this man, Mike McSwain, is nervous. How nervous are you?
Not too bad. I mean, you know, it's better than chewing my nails. It's time to get nervous now where we're running right now.
Car pretty good?
Yeah, car's real good. Really didn't need this caution, but, you know, I think we'll be okay. We have been good on restarts, and Ricky's been doing good. I think we can get back out there and go on.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Alan.
All right, BP.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, sir.
You just can't color between the lines.
No, I sure
can't do it.
All right, lights are out atop this pace car.
All right, driver, 21 laps to go. Your Ricky Rudd. Restart's yours.
Well, you got one of the best behind you, so you're going to have to try to keep that 9 car in between you and him getting down into turn 1.
Yeah,
as much as you can.
The whole race hinges on him beating the 9 car into turn 1.
Right.
Yep. Bill?
Exactly right. Just watch, Gordon, because when he was behind the 19 before the caution, he was very tight. He was already a little bit tight. Behind the 19, it made him even tighter. They tried to get the 19 to move out of the way. The 19 would not move, so this is Gordon's big chance. Let's watch.
And he's going to clear him.
Both cars clearing, but Dale Jarrett gets hung behind him.
For how long?
Not long.
Bill Elliott, 22nd position. First car a lap down. Jarrett's by.
Oh, little bump.
Here comes Jarrett for second, looking underneath Jeff Gordon.
We got trouble on the backstretch.
Todd Bodine, the flying 360, no caution. Bodine was 6th.
And Dale Jarrett's going to be second in just about 1 straightaway.
Listen to the roar from that crowd.
That was from Ricky Rudd.
Good job, man. Go get him.
Todd Barrett telling his driver, go get that 28.
Now, I'll tell you another reason why that pass was important for Dale Jarrett. Jeff Gordon has locked up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps today.
18 to go. Hit you, Mark. Go get the 28.
That's Bobby Jeffries, Jarrett's spotter. If they finish like they are now, there's a 5-point difference between second and third, so that would neutralize out Gordon's extra 5 bonus points.
There's that accordion effect I was talking about.
That's exactly what you talked about at the very top of the show. And Robbie Gordon comes up the back end of the accordion, can't stop, bumps the 66, around he goes.
Up front of you. Keep coming. Come low. Fire. Come on. Yeah, outside. Keep coming. Keep coming. Inside. Come on up. Come on.
And that really scrambled up the teams in the running order. Todd Bodine was 6th. He's now back to 19th.
Jerry Nadeau, we saw him fly by. He's up to the 7th position because he never had to check up when Todd Bodine spun over off turn 2.
Tracking the interval between Rudd and Jarrett to see if they're closing in any. It was 7/10 of a second last time by. It's 6/10 of a second this time by.
Jarrett is a little bit faster than Ricky Rudd.
Elliott Sadler involved in a hard crash a short while ago. Dave Burns is with him.
Elliott, you just walked out of the medical center. How are you?
Pretty good. Just rung my bell right good that time. I just hit the apron and got loose and backed into the wall, hit driver's side, and My Hutchinson device helped me a lot on the first wreck, but the second wreck back it up. Just hit my head on the roll bomb, messed up my knee a little bit, but yeah, this is a rough day. I'm glad this day is over with. It's been terrible for us, so we'll just regroup and go to Indy this week, test, and get ready for Pocono.
We talked earlier about how important it was to finish races. This is the first race that Elliott has not finished all season.
Awesome lap, 15 to go.
Todd Parrott talking to Dale Jarrett.
And I'll tell you what, Jarrett is closing up. He's getting up right on the back bumper of Rudd. That may affect his car. The closer he gets, the worse his car may become. Might pick up that arrow push we're always talking about.
He's knocked a 1/10 of a second off the lead each of the last 4 laps. It's down to 0.47 seconds.
Now, catching and passing are 2 different things. That's going to be very difficult to do.
Complicated by the fact that it's his teammate. He can't rough him up to get by him. Remember back in Martinsville, Jarrett passed Ricky Rudd with 5 laps to go for the win there. But Rudd had older tires than Jarrett. It wasn't a fair fight. This time, they've got the same thing as far as rubber on the car, fuel mileage, the whole thing. And they've just got to be sure they don't rough each other up, racing for the win.
You won't see that between these 2 guys. These are 2 of the smoothest guys out there, and I don't see that ever happening.
Think Robert Yates is nervous?
Yeah. He wants both of his drivers, he wants both of his teams to do well. They're doing very well. But when you run second, you always are a little bit disappointed.
There's the interval in real time between Rudd, the leader, Jarrett in second, and Gordon in third.
Now, I just noticed Jarrett's getting in. He's driving his car a little bit harder than Ricky is. And that letting Ricky get off the corners a little bit better because Ricky can pick up the throttle faster. But when you're in second, you're chasing somebody, you're trying to make that time up, and the first thing you're going to do is try to drive that car in a little bit further.
That interval was 0.7 of a second. Shortly after the restart.
29.83, 10 to go, 1-0.
And Jeff Gordon not able to mount any kind of a challenge. Gordon led 126 of the first 127 laps of this race. But once he got out of the lead, he's never been able to get back to it. Oh, look out.
Oh, they're 3 wide down the front straightaway, and Nadu, he's got the line.
5th, 6th, and 7th. Nadu to 5th, Spencer to 6th.
Oh, here goes Spencer on the inside of Nadu. And Nadu's going to try to come down. Spencer's going to try to drive it in there.
Oh, contact. Nadu spins into the outside wall. Caution's out.
Man, you could see that coming from a mile away.
You sure could, Denny. That was why we had the cameras on it.
Jerry Nadu into the outside wall, racing for 5th position with Jimmy Spencer. And the yellow is out for the 10th time in this race.
And Jerry Nadu has his car rolling. I'm sure that NASCAR is glad to see that because this race now, I don't think will end under this caution flag. There may be another one, but this will not end the race.
Yeah. 9 laps to go. Important because it'll be a single file restart when we go back at it. Here's a look.
I mean, you knew that Spencer was going to drive it in very deep going in 3. You knew that Nadu was going to come down to try to block the position. You just knew that was going to happen.
Back wheels right up off the ground when he hit. So who's at fault?
Well, you know, the 25 was coming down, and Jimmy could have cracked the throttle and avoided that. But, you know, you're 10 laps to go, 11 laps to go, driving for a position. So, I mean, how can you blame him for going for the position either?
Back for the finish of the New England 300 in a minute. Don't go away. We are under caution in the New England 300 with 8, now 7 laps to go. It's been a wild and woolly race. This is the 10th yellow. This could come down to the last man standing because the last 3 straight races here in New Hampshire have finished under caution. One of them for rain, the other 2 in very similar to circumstances than this. A late yellow, a restart, and a pileup.
the fact that you have 2 Robert Yates cars running 1-2, you wouldn't think that the 88 would get in the back of the 28 and make contact and turn him around. You wouldn't think that would happen. But now you get back 3rd, 4th, 5th on back, they're liable to do anything. And I will say this, there is a 10-lap rule in NASCAR which says that all the cars on a restart with less than 10 laps to go, all the cars on the lead lap will line up nose to tail. So we will not have the slower cars on the inside like we've seen all day long. They will restart this race single file.
Probably see the bumper horn being used a little bit more in these last few laps.
Ricky Rudd trying to score his 2nd win of the season. Didn't look like that first win was ever going to come. He had a couple of opportunities. This was in Martinsville back in April. Dale Jarrett, his teammate, passing him with 5 laps to go to steal the win away. Thanks, teammate. Jarrett on fresher tires than Rudd, and it was the difference he needed to take the checkered flag. Then at Michigan, Gordon and Rudd swapped the lead twice in the final lap of the race, with Gordon making the last pass to score the victory. Then at Pocono, it finally happened for Ricky Rudd, the checkered flag that had been so elusive since he joined Robert Gates Racing, touching off a wild celebration for Rudd, Michael McSwain, and the Texaco team. And now Rudd is going to be 5 laps away from perhaps his 2nd win of 2001. We're coming to the restart.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't know which place I'd rather be right now, because, you know, the 88 sitting there saying, I got a shot at winning this thing, but I've got to be careful. And the 28 saying, boy, I hope my teammate's careful back there.
But again, the point being, somebody farther back hitting him, hitting somebody else, causing a crash that makes the race finish under yellow. You got Park right behind Spencer.
Yeah.
Here it comes. The final 5 laps. We're underway in New Hampshire.
Oh, great start by Ricky.
And Gordon is trying to get by Dale Jarrett. He's not going to pass him on the outside. We know he's not going to try that, because that is not going to work.
Spencer got away from Park on the restart. Harvick is banging on Bobby Labonte's back bumper back in traffic, but right now it is Jarrett trying to close in what he lost to Ricky Rudd on the restart. Looking to meet him up.
Wow, 28 really didn't get in that corner very well.
Here comes Jarrett. 4 laps to go. The teammates banging together.
And here comes Jeff Gordon. He's on the inside of Rudd.
Rudd tries to close the door.
All clear, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure.
Dale Jarrett's out in
Clear
front.
by 5 on 24.
Gordon to 2nd. Rudd back to 3rd. Here comes Spencer.
I don't know if the 28 just had rubber or dirt or what on his tires. When he went into turn 3, that car would not stick.
3 laps to go. Hit your marks there. Clear by 5.
Dale Jarrett in position to try and score a win. Jarrett was one of the hottest drivers in the Winston Cup Tour earlier in the season. He got 3 victories before the month of April was out. Then he had the crash at Charlotte in qualifying that left him with the rib cage injury. And really, the month of June, not much to speak of for Dale Jarrett. But now the momentum is back in his corner, pulling into the tie for the point lead with Jeff Gordon a week ago at Chicagoland. He's 2 laps from the checkered flag.
And Ricky Rudd is crushed. He is just absolutely crushed.
Marty?
Guys, Ricky Rudd came on the radio after he got passed by Dale Jarrett. He said, he hit me, and Mike McSwain looked down. He said, Dale Jarrett hit him, and that's what moved Ricky Rudd out of the way. No fighting for the championship between these 2 teammates.
Final lap, white flag is out for Dale Jarrett. It's going to make for an interesting Monday morning meeting at Robert Gates Racing. Late restart. Jarrett gets by his teammate and scores what will be his 4th win of the season. Dale Jarrett takes the New England 300, his first win here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Gordon 2nd, Rudd 3rd, Spencer 4th, Stewart 5th. It just didn't go for Ricky Rudd after the restart, and Jarrett took advantage. Steve Park Mark with the congratulatory door slam. Matt Yoakum.
Well, your man held the drama out to the very end. Finally, you guys pick up your first New Hampshire victory. Todd, congratulations.
An awesome day. You know, we had a great race car all day long. Just kept adjusting on it. And hopefully, you know, he knew more than we did. He was saving a little bit there for the end. Ricky had a great race car all day. So the 24. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Just, it's a good day. You know, we needed this. And, you know, to get a good win for Robert Yates Racing. And, you know, we'll go back to Charlotte now and go to my blooming favorite steakhouse at Outback and have us a big party. And I'd like to dedicate this win to Roseberry Stevens, a good friend of ours. Had a little trouble early this week, and just thinking about you, Joe.
A special win for this team, Alan.
Dale Jarrett saluting the fans. Let's go back and take a look at what happened when Jarrett passed Ricky Rudd a minute ago. You heard the report from Marty and Rudd's crew chief.
Right there's the touch that he's talking about. Just barely off board, but again, it was, if there was a touch, it was just so very, very slight.
I don't think he touched him. Take another look at it. He's awfully close. I don't think he got touched. I think he just got the air underneath the rear of that car and got him loose.
At that point, that big front air dam pushing that big bubble of air could have been what Ricky Rudd felt. We'll get post-race reaction when we come back.
Back here at the New Hampshire International Speedway, the New England 300 has been concluded, and the car sitting in victory lane, the UPS Ford of Dale Jarrett. His first win here at New Hampshire. His best finish previously was second. So Dale Jarrett now sitting in the car, has not even unbelted yet. Still getting, now he has the belts coming off. He's got some cold towels, some drinks, takes off his head and neck restraint device, and he will climb out here in victory lane and celebrate his win in the New England 300. Big win for Dale Jarrett. Came into this race tied for the lead in the Winston Cup point standings. Dale Jarrett, the winner of the New England 300. Benny, I think they were concerned about points. Congratulations. You said if you win, you get the most points.
That's right. That's one way of assuring that you're going to get the most. But tough day. Tough racetrack, great race car, great pit stops. I want to dedicate this to two young men that did make their mark on this sport and would have if they wouldn't have been taken to our maker sooner than we wanted to. Adam Petty and Kenny Irwin, who's a teammate of mine. And we just want everybody to remember them, their families, Kyle and Patty, Kenny's family. They were special people and meant a lot to this sport. This racetrack came under a lot of criticism. I said some things myself about doing some things. It wasn't the racetrack, and it surely wasn't the Bear family that built this place. This is a great racetrack. The fans are incredible, and just a great day. Place we hadn't won, we wanted to do that. UPS first win here in New Hampshire. We appreciate the support we get from all of our associate sponsors, Coca-Cola, Fleetwood, Planters Peanuts, everybody that's involved with us. Ford Credit, we just appreciate it. And tell you, that was tough. I wasn't sure if I was going to get Ricky or not.
How did you do that, Dale? How did you get around your teammate?
Ricky couldn't go very fast through the center of the corner on the restarts, and I knew that. And Jeff got a really good run. I had to block him, but I got a good run into three, and I saw Ricky really have to slow down. And I was able to get back in the gas and really get up off the corner, and Ricky's car just wouldn't get up off the corner, and I beat him up off the corner. And once I got the inside position, that was it. Great day for us, great day. Say hi to everybody back home, and I don't think Kelly and Natalie and Carson are watching in London, but we did it.
And Zach's okay. He's here with me.
Was there any contact out there, Dale? It's hard to tell from our view.
You know, we did have contact, but it's after Ricky came off the wall. He just about hit the wall and brought it down, and that's when we touched in. I think he'll tell you that there wasn't any contact that initiated the pass or anything. I think that was all clean.
Now, before this, were you thinking about points before this race or not?
Well, you're always thinking about points, but as I said, best way to take care of the points is to finish first.
Okay, and he did that. Dale Jarrett wins here at New Hampshire. Let's hear from his teammate, Ricky Rudd.
And obviously a dejected Ricky Rudd. He sounded, Ricky, talking to Jeff Gordon right now, you sounded a little bit upset on the radio. Your team was extremely upset. Was there any contact?
Well, I think it was. Our biggest problem, though, is we didn't need to have those cautions coming out. We weren't very good on a restart. DJ was good all day on a restart. Jeff and I were just talking about it that, you know, when they'd restart, he'd act like he'd been long into a run. In other words, he got good grip. I just couldn't get a hold of the racetrack. I don't think hardly anybody could. Just DJ's about the only one. And sort of a sitting duck there, you know. I hate it for the guys. We had the best car, I felt like, on the long run. There's about 3 or 4 good cars out there today. And went up third, and we felt like we had about a first, second place car anyway.
So did your teammate hit you?
Well, I don't know. I felt a nudge, but you know, I was already smoking the tires already. I was already sideways up there loosening the marbles, and, you know, he got into me. I don't think it was, that's not why he got by me. I'll put it that way. I was just sideways before that.
So no hard feelings?
No, not at all.
All right, Ricky Rudd comes home third today, guys. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, for Jeff Gordon, an up and down day. You finished second, but did you need a restart with 4 or 5 laps to go, Jeff?
No, actually, I didn't need any cautions. I was good on the long runs, but just wasn't very good when the tires cooled down. And I was fortunate to take advantage of the situation with Jared and Rudd there and get by Rudd and get second. But, you know, you got to have that track position. You got to be out front. And we had it, you know, the first half of the race, and we lost it. But the car just wasn't good enough, you know, there until we made a real long run, and it just never happened for us. But good day for the DuPont Chevrolet team to come home second.
You commented how stout that 88 car was on the restart.
Yeah, you know, I mean, my car would take off great down the straightaway in the restarts. I'd get a run on, but as soon as we get to the corner, it just seemed like for short periods of time, he was extremely strong. He did the same thing to me the night before. He got right on my bumper, and I couldn't drive the car, you know, and he got by me and looked like he did the same thing to the 28.
Jeff Gordon entered New Hampshire tied in points, leaving with his 8th top 2 finish of the season.
Dale Jarrett led the final 3 laps of the New England 300, getting by his teammate Ricky Rudd to score the win and the point lead. It's the Autotrader.com post-race show from New Hampshire International Speedway on TNT as we bring you the aftermath of today's New England 300 won by Dale Jarrett. Here are the final results of today's race. Top 3 in points coming in. Top 3 finishing positions in the race.
Jimmy Spencer, a great run to finish in 4th position. Tony Stewart all the way from 25th.
Mike Wallace, another great run. Top 10 finish, back in the car for the rest of the year, he hopes.
Casey Atwood came back from a lap down to finish 12th. Brett Bodine continuing to creep toward the front. Todd Bodine 15th after the late spin. That was a shame. He was running 6th at the time. These cars all a lap or more down, including John Andretti, running in the top 10 when he got penalized. Did not beat the stop-and-go paddle to the end of pit road, and it cost him a lap. Wound up finishing in 23rd. And the cars down the bottom of the list from Bud Strickland, Ron Hornaday, Jerry Nadeau on down all had problems and spent some time in the garage during the race. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Alan, we had some problems down here in the garage area just following the race. You can see Jeremy Mayfield's hauler behind me and the rack on top where they put the cars and then eventually push them into the transporter. Unfortunately, one of his crew members, while they were pushing the car on top, had a fall. And they have currently gotten him rushed to a medical center somewhere away from the track here. One of the first guys to run over and get the medical crew was Ryan Pemberton, crew chief of Robert Presley, who was right next door, came sprinting through. We all knew something was going on, and when we came by, the medical technicians were already working on him. So don't have any more than that right now, just a member of Jeremy Mayfield's crew. We can hope for the best, but took a big fall.
All right, Dave, thanks. We'll bring you more on that as it becomes available to us. We'll come back to New Hampshire with more post-race coverage in a minute. crowd of some 110,000 starting to file out of the New Hampshire International Speedway after the New England 300. Here are the championship standings. Now, I said Dale Jarrett has the point lead, and he does. While he and Jeff Gordon are tied atop the standings, the tiebreaker, the first tiebreaker, his most number of wins. Jarrett's win today, his 4th. Gordon has 3. Jarrett is your championship leader.
Rusty Wallace takes a big hit. Now 353 points back as we check out 11 through 20.
Elliott Sadler losing ground today with his double accident day. And Ken Schrader bringing up the backside of the top 20. Jimmy Spencer finished 4th today, was involved in an incident with Jerry Nadeau racing for position in the final laps, and Marty Snyder's caught up with him.
And Jimmy Spencer finished 4th today. An animated conversation between you and Jerry Nadeau. First of all, talk about that incident and what you said to Jerry after the race.
Oh, I believe I made a little mistake there, you know. I mean, Steve Parks pounded me in the back end, and I pushed out, and Jerry got on the outside of me, and we went down in a corner, and you know, Jerry got 3 wide. I gave him all the room in the world, and he slid out. I got back underneath him and going down the back straightaway, and he gave me enough room. I just slammed on the brakes, and when I slammed on the brakes, it slid the nose over, and I got into him, and I sure in heck did not mean that to happen. I'm sorry for it, you know, but the Kmart guys, we had a great day, you know. I mean, that really sours you when that happens. I'm sorry to his fans, but anyway, the Kmart guys did a great job, you know. My guy's Donnie Wingo. I can't say enough for my man Donnie. He's been with me for a long time. He's a great crew chief. I can't say enough for him. He's been making some great calls for me. He did a great job today. Did a great job at Chicago last week. Steve Allen, Mike Agee, all those guys at Mooresville building my motors for Robert Yates. I'm really happy with those guys. All the Kmart people has been supporting this program. We're going to win here shortly, I hope.
Indeed, a good day for these guys. This is their 2nd consecutive top 5 finish.
Here is the incident in question.
And there you see the contact. I mean, Spencer just really drove that thing down the corner, trying to stay on the inside because he knew if he could stay down there, that he could take the position away. Nadeau thought he was clear of Jimmy Spencer. He came down.
Here's the discussion afterwards. Been in a couple of those in your time, Walt?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's bad for Jerry. It really didn't need to happen. I mean, Jerry's already got one wrecked car in the trailer right there. He was running good the whole race, and that really was uncalled for.
The photos underway in Victory Lane for Dale Jarrett. We're back to New Hampshire with more post-race coverage next. Welcome back to the Autotrader.com post-race show on TNT from New Hampshire International Speedway. The scene in Victory Lane, they call it the hat dance.
When did Dale Jarrett get the nickname Catfish? I heard that 2 or 3 times on that cool-down lap as he took the checkered flag.
All right, that is your assignment to figure that out for next week's broadcast at Pocono. Friday, it's Bud Pole qualifying on CNN Sports Illustrated at 3 Eastern Time. Saturday, Winston Cup final practice at noon, followed by the Pepsi Arca 200 from Pocono. That one at 1 o'clock Eastern. Also Saturday, NBC has the NASCAR Busch Series, Napa Auto Care 250 from Pikes Peak Raceway in Colorado. Then next Sunday, it's the Pennsylvania 500, 12:30 Eastern Time. And the encore presentation on Monday night, and that is next weekend on TNT. Matt Yoakum.
Alan, we've caught up with Dale Earnhardt Jr. You had a hard-earned
9th place. It wasn't pretty at all. We was running real hot. We had to come in and get the car cooled off, and then we was banging with people and getting run into. People were backing into the front of my car all day long. But
did you hate when that happens?
Yeah. So we had to keep pulling the fenders out on it, and finally I spun Bobby out accidentally. That was my fault. I like him. And I
think he likes you too.
He's a cool guy. He probably thinks I'm all right. But we're getting ready to go home and probably drink some beers, Budweiser's, and chill out with some friends and relax and get ready for next week.
Are you going to have a little fiesta at Club E since you had your first top 10 finish here at New Hampshire?
Yeah, I know. It's a long time coming, ain't it?
That's a big celebration.
Yeah, I've been going here for almost a year and a half, 2 years now, and finally got me a top 10, so I'm pretty excited.
That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. scoring his first career top 10 finish here at New Hampshire, Alan.
I'm coming here for all of a year and a half, 2 years, and I finally got a top 10 finish. We're back in a minute. Kyle Petty's team loading up after his run here at New Hampshire International Speedway today. Kyle coming up with a 26th place finish, 1 lap down to the race leader. And I'm sure very glad that a very difficult weekend for him is over.
You know that he is thrilled that he came here now, but he's sure glad it is over. What a tough, tough weekend for Kyle Petty.
Memories of Adam Petty throughout the weekend here, including by Dale Jarrett in victory lane, as well as memories of Kenny Irwin, the 2 drivers who lost their lives here in crashes during the 2000 season. Let's take a look back at today's New England 300, kind of a rough and rugged event. Total of 10 caution flags. This one at lap number 5. Elliott Sadler into Joe Nemechek. They both crashed. Both would return to the race. Elliott would wish he hadn't. Just a few laps later, Rusty Wallace into the garage. First one out of the race. Engine failure for the 4th place man in the championship. Drivers had problems with right fronts. Johnny Benson, Jeremy Mayfield, and Dave Blaney all with similar looking accidents into the wall in turn number 1. Ward Burton, well, his wasn't a right front. He got hit from behind and spun around. Caution came out. Ward lost a lap at that point. Ron Hornaday with the wildest looking incident of the day, squeezed into the backstretch wall by Stacy Compton. He goes up and away, but fortunately back down inside the ballpark. Spun off to the infield. He'd continue in the race too. Mike Wallace barely squeezing through. Now to the late going, Elliott Sadler. Hard crash off turn 4, 2nd impact of the day. Elliott got his bell rung. Later told us he was okay, but very sore. Now, the final laps of the race. After a late caution, Ricky Rudd leads on a restart, but here comes his teammate, Dale Jarrett. 3 laps to go. Jarrett takes the lead, holds on from there to score the win. Jeff Gordon would follow Jarrett through to 2nd, and DJ gets victory number 4 of the 2001 campaign, breaking the tie with Jeff Gordon atop the standings by having 4 victories to Gordon's 3. You see 8 leaders, 10 lead changes. The big number, 10 cautions for 51 laps. And let's hear from today's 5th place finisher. He's with Marty.
Well, the way it looked like Tony Stewart was coming up to the field, it looked like you were going to rocket right to the front, but you had about a 5th place car, and that's kind of just where it stayed. Did the car just peter out at the end?
We just, every yellow that came out, we got tight for about 10 laps. So, you know, every caution that came out there late, it just made our car tighter and tighter in the center. So, you know, just, you know, the Home Depot guys did a great job today, and the Pontiac drove good. And, you know, the motor department's really been working hard trying to gain us back some horsepower we lost earlier in the year, and did a great job today. So just a long day. I got a really tore up race car there at the end.
But after the last 2 weeks, he said, hey, you know what, guys, I'm just glad I finished.
And Bobby Labonte finished 7th today, which was a great finish for him considering the year that you've had so far. Tell us about spinning and then coming back to get that 7th.
Well, I mean, it really didn't flat spot the tires here. You know, I don't know if you can flat spot the tires here that bad, but just did a little 360 over there after we got hit, and yeah, came back. They had a little bump up on the inside. I happened to be on the outside, passed a lot on back, so kind of got back where we started. But you know, all in all, we just lost some track position on it and didn't really make it up until somebody else had a problem. But still a good day for the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. You know, we had a good fast race car, just couldn't get much track position. And the last run was the worst run, but other than that, it was pretty good all day.
Did you ever try 2 tires all day?
No, Dave, sure didn't. I mean, it was we just needed 4. The times that we pitted, I mean, it seemed like we needed 4 at that point in time, and it was working out pretty good for us.
Thanks a lot, Bobby. He finished the 7th, as we mentioned, and he's finished so great in the last 12 races. He's all the way up to 9th in points, I believe, Alan.
Dale Jarrett still celebrating his win in the New England 300. We'll come back to New Hampshire in just a moment.
The New England 300 on TNT, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Are you ready for a cold one? By CarQuest Auto Parts. You'll find it at CarQuest. By Pfizer, where life is our life's work. And by UPS, the official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
Back at New Hampshire International Speedway in the aftermath of today's New England 300, won by Dale Jarrett. Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Spencer, and Tony Stewart, the top 5. Kevin Harvick, after winning the NASCAR Busch Series race last night, back for another top 10 finish in Richard Childress's Chevrolet. Jarrett and Gordon with the equal number of points atop the championship standings, but Jarrett now with 4 wins to Gordon's 3. That's the first tiebreaker, so Jarrett is your point leader this week. Our pit reporters have given us news that the crew member injured in the fall in the garage area from the transporter on Jeremy Mayfield's team is Derek White. He's being taken to a local hospital. We have no word on his condition other than he is being transported out of the racetrack. And any information that we're able to get before we leave the air, we'll pass along to you. And obviously in other sources as well throughout the night. But it is Derek White who is the injured crew member on the Jeremy Mayfield team. Next weekend, it's Bud Pole qualifying at Pocono on CNN Sports Illustrated. Friday at 3 Eastern Time. Saturday, we've got final practice and the Pepsi Arca 200 from Pocono, plus the NASCAR Busch Series race from Pikes Peak on TNT, and then the Busch Series race on NBC. Sunday, the Pennsylvania 500 at 12:30 Eastern Time. Here, it's NASCAR and the race for the championship on TNT. What a wild day it's been here at Pocono. Ron Hornaday up on the fence. Elliott Sadler's hard crash. Dale Jarrett's late pass on Ricky Rudd to score the win. We'll talk to you next weekend from Pocono. For Benny Parsons and Wally Dallenbach, I'm Alan Bestwick. Good night from New Hampshire.